Now, Betty, what are we going to do tonight?
I'm gonna kick some ass!
Welcome to Chicago, where the fire serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Rock and Big Z.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Chicago. Coming from the True Chicago Sports Fan Cave, this is the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
I'm back.
Oh, yeah. Episode 93 is brought to you by 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, ACSI, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirts. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. That is TrueFan15. Go get your official TCSF shirts now.
Go get them.
As always, I am Big Z, and I'm here with my boy E-Rock. He's back. Yay!
What's up, Z? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the show. If you are a first-timer or a long-timer, please remember to hit that subscribe button, that notify button, and go ahead and give us a review on your listening app of choice. You can find us on Facebook at True Chicago Fans. You can follow us on Twitter at True Chi Fans and on IG at True Chicago Sports Fans. And don't forget, you can support the show with the monthly subscription at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans. Go on over there and click on support, and you can subscribe for as low as 99 cents a month. Ladies and gentlemen, do you like the show?
I do.
Are you a fan?
I am.
Tell your friends, and they will tell their friends, and we can all be friends. Share the content. If you enjoy what you're listening to, if you think we're funny, if you think we're informative, share it with your other friends that like the same type of content, and help us grow the show, man. Z, what's up, brother? I haven't seen you Easter, you told me Easter's not that big for you guys, but for us, I wasn't able to do anything. So I was out. Like, I was out last week with the bronchitis, so I didn't even get to see you at all. So, man, how are you doing?
I'm all right. Thankfully, I went over with my weekend sickness the weekend before that, which is funny because we didn't see each other, and yet we still got sick on back-to-back weeks. Man, it's been a crazy week, man. The kids are getting restless now. You know, it's officially the countdown for the teachers. You know, they're trying to get the end of the year out of the way. The kids and the teachers are squarely, and we're ready to get done already. Bowling, I've been sucking it like a hard lemon. It's been pretty bad, man. It's disgusting how I've been playing. I want to kick myself off the team, but we're in the playoffs, so I can't do that. So, yeah. I mean, the guys are always giving me shit. They're like, oh, you're going to talk about this on the podcast? Yeah. I'll be honest. When I suck, I suck. And I the past 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, probably even longer than that, I've sucked really bad. So
I'm going to keep that soundbite just.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I just walked into that. Yeah. Anyways, I did start my Wednesday league over at Diversity. And that is on week 2. It's me, Louis Nunes, Magic. You've met Magic over at the bar, and then we have a fourth person who hasn't showed up, and that's the reason we lost last week because we were one person short. That fucking sucks, dude.
Is it who I think it is?
Oh no! It's a dude named Ron from the Tuesday League, but he had kind of like you, like a bout with bronchitis, so he didn't want to come around us. So I thank you for not doing that, Ron. But we lost literally by 100 pins.
You guys can't like bring in a substitute or something like that?
Yeah, we can. We can actually add another person to the roster. It's just that everyone's like, yeah, I'll do it, and then they always flake out.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, and then it's just you can't depend on people sometimes. It's horrible. Let's see. That pretty much wraps up the week for me. How was your week?
Well, funny enough, speaking of bowling, before Easter that Thursday, so we had the Friday, we had Good Friday off of work for the holiday of Easter, right? So that Thursday, out in where I work in Elk Grove, there's an old bowling alley called Elk Grove Bowl. It's been there forever, and they are actually getting ready to close down at the end of the month. So their last day in operation, their last day in operation is going to be April 30th. So they've been around for, I think, 60, 70 years, something like that. And they're going to demolish that and put up some more of this, like, first floor of retail and then build up housing on top of
Nice unit, yeah.
It's kind of crappy because even the day that it was just a work outing, like I ran a bunch of people, and we just went out there, and it was cool to like hang out with a lot of these people outside of work that I see on a daily basis. And so we went over there, and there was still a lot of people bowling in their league and stuff like that. So I'm like, where you guys closed in like 2 weeks. Where are these leagues supposed to go?
Yeah, that's surprising. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the area as far as what other bowling alleys are in the area, but I'm pretty sure it's a Bolero or something.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that this is a big place too. I mean, I forget how many lanes, but it was at least 50 lanes there.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a big place. And then I know that there's one in Wooddale, but it looks like one of those old school like one floor, or like the little it almost looks like an office building tucked away in the corner, like the old school bowling alley. That's what that one looked like. But yeah, I mean, so I went up there and I bowled like a 108, and I was happy to get over 100. I was happy to get one. I got one strike. I got a couple of spares. I hadn't bowled in like 10 years, so I mean, like I was happy with what I did. And I even sent you a video.
You did. You sent me the video, and I was like the first one. I gave you a couple pointers, and then that's without even seeing the second one before you picked it up. And I was like, oh, okay. Then you did exactly what you're supposed to do.
And the funny thing is that was like, I think I had maybe 3 spares the whole time in 2 games. So like, I was like, I told Talia, who I work with, I was like, hey, do me a favor, record this. Because I was just like, hey, check it out, I'm bowling. You know what I mean? Like, look at me, I'm a cool guy. So I mean, like, so I was like, all right, the first one. And she even commented, she goes, that was perfect because you picked up the fucking spare. And I was like, that's right, baby. That's right. And my balls didn't have to freeze or crack and have to do any of it. So
ouch, Louis, ouch.
But yeah, man, I mean, like, it sucked that we weren't. I was kind of a little bit under the weather that day, and then it just kind of progressed, and then by the time Easter came, I had to go to urgent care and see what the hell's going on because I was just coughing a lot, and I was like, no fever, no nothing like that. I took 2 COVID tests, I was perfectly fine, but it was just the coughing. So they got, went in there and they're like, oh, you got bronchitis, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't be talking on a microphone this weekend. So that's how that went. So yeah, but.
Yeah, it was. You know what? It was weird.
Yeah,
it was weird recording by myself because I haven't done that.
You've never done that, yeah?
Well, since episode 2.
Well, episode 2.
Episode 1 and 2 are interviews where I'm not really talking the entire time. It was just hey, here's a question. Hey, answer it. Here's another question.
Yeah.
So it was actually the first time that I've actually just addressed the audience and had no feedback. It was weird.
What did you think of an experience like that?
I think it's weird as. Not to have the instant feedback.
Yeah.
I kind of related it to when I was doing the remote teaching and, the kids all have their microphones off and I'll ask a question and it's like crickets. So it's and I started thinking to myself midway through, as I think I got better midway through. I was like, hey, let me talk to the audience. Ask them the question. I know I'm not going to get the feedback, but ask the question. And in my head, I kept thinking that and I kept thinking Greeny. Because Greeny does it by itself.
No, you know who it makes me think about is Dan Patrick. Because
that's another one.
Before Greeny had his own singular show where he was the single host, I mean, Dan Patrick on the radio, that's like one of my very first early on influences and guys that I listened to on the radio on ESPN when he had like the noon to 2 show back in the day in like the early 2000s. So, I mean, that's what I think. And it's something... You did a good job adapting as you went along because it was I could tell it was like a little bit of a shock for you. Were just like, all right, how do I figure this out? And it is different. It's totally different because you're looking for that feedback and just the way that we had a 4-way booth in here once. You know what I mean?
Hey.
You know what I mean? And even then, like, so sometimes not enough or too much is can kind of throw you off. But I mean, you did a great job. I mean,
appreciate it. I mean, there was a lot of editing. Don't be honest.
But yeah, man, like I said, I'm here. I'm here for this week. I won't be here next week, but I'm glad to be here again. We got a fantastic guest this week, Lex Cruz, from Illinois Media School. He is a producer, so we got him on to talk about the Bulls a little bit later, and our softball season started this weekend
already,
and our squad took home the W, winning 21-4, brother.
Wasn't that the Cubs score?
Hey, sure. Well, 21-0. That's what the Cubs did. So we owe them 4 runs. I guess is what happened there. But I mean, look, early on in the season, 12U, and it's good for their confidence to get out there and get a W right away. We had a great day the Saturday, great weather. It was a lot of fun to get out there. So I think a lot of these girls on this team can really take a big step, and we'll see where we are kind of when in the middle of summer when the season's over, going into some of the summer clinics and fall ball and stuff like that. So
you have the same girls from last year?
So we have, except for 3, we have pretty much the same team.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And have you seen any growth between last year and this year already?
Well, so far, I mean, the ones that I know, because I know a couple of our girls did some pitching
Clinics.
Well, pitching coaches. They work with some pitching coaches over the winter. So we saw some improvement there, and then we were lucky because we have a girl that's doing double duty, and she's a travel team player, which you kind of get every once in a while in these kind of like semi house leagues. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, and I told her yesterday, I was like, look, you're more experienced than a lot of these girls out here, and you playing catcher, it's really important that you be the quarterback. You're the only one that can see the entire field the entire time. So it's not only important for you to know what you have to do, but it's your job also to remember what everyone else is supposed to be doing too. So you can, even if you're, you know, kind of on the field coaching as you go, I mean, it's an important position. So I mean, shout out to her, because she was an integral part. I mean, my daughter had a nice hit. Finally, like, she had this stigma of not swinging the bat unless it's an absolutely perfect pitch. She went up there, she swung the bat, and it was only half a swing. So she comes over to first, and she's like, I barely even swung it. I says, I know. Now imagine you do that with power.
It would have been gone.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, it's exciting. We got a lot of games, and it's going to be an action-packed May for us. And I'm just getting ready to head up to Milwaukee next weekend for the Midwest Gaming Classic. So you got to hold down the fort next week. You got anything special?
I don't know. Maybe I'll record the show live from the cell. They are playing at home by then. Hopefully they'll be playing better.
You talking about baseball? I thought you were trying to get locked up.
Oh no! I ain't Akon, bro. I ain't Akon. No. I think I'm gonna go to a Sox game this weekend, and I mean, I have the portable mics that can connect to my iPhone, so I can record video and audio at the same time. I'll give it a shot. If it doesn't work, then I'll re-record on Sunday.
Man, that sounds like it's gonna be a lot of fun. So
thanks, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, out of town. If you head up to Milwaukee, go to MGC, check me out. You'll find me around there somewhere
Playing with his balls.
Yeah, I'll be playing with all the shiny silver balls. But let me real quick give a shout out to George and Molly J. Soto, my boy, my brother. They welcomed the birth of his very first son. I can't wait to go meet my nephew once my mocos go away all the way.
Your mocos?
Yeah, bro. That's the problem, is that, you know, you it takes a while for all that crap to go away. It's annoying because you're just sitting there all the time, and I'm over here trying to make sure I don't cough on the mic and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, it's a fine. That's why.
That's right. That's right. But ladies and gentlemen, it is a brand new season. We are getting ready to keep moving forward, and hopefully this weather is going to turn soon, and maybe you need a fresh start. So let me tell you about a great opportunity with our friends over at ACSI. With over 50 expert technicians in the Chicagoland area, ACSI offers a one-stop shop for telecom wiring, whether residential cable installation, fiber to the home, or commercial structured cable wiring. ACSI is a proud partner of both Comcast and Astound, powered by RCN. Fans, let me tell you the most impressive thing about ACSI. The ACSI crew did their thing during the COVID-19 pandemic, and ACSI was awarded Hacia's 2020 Contractor of the Year award. The best part is that ACSI is growing bigger and better than ever. ACSI is now hiring for field sales, technicians, and project managers. Check out acsi.tech. That's acsi.tech, and click on careers to apply today. ACSI is an equal opportunity employer.
Go get you a job.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this week we are going to cover the Cubs and Sox in 3 up and 3 down. And in the bottom line, we discuss the Bulls versus the Bucks. And this is a very bucked up series, I'll say, at this point, down 3-1. And we're going to discuss all of that with our special guest today, Lex Cruz from the Illinois Media School. All that plus during the pot and what you looking at. But first, this is the Big Three with Big Z.
Thanks, E-Rock. I'm Big Z, and you're not.
Nope.
Now for today's stories. Oh, man. I know you've been waiting for these because you didn't get no stories last week.
I didn't. Nothing I could react to. I'm over here at home yelling at the radio.
Like the old man yelling at the clouds.
Uh-huh.
All right, story number 1. And this is a feel-good story. Congratulations to Detroit Tigers slugger Miguel Cabrera becomes the 7th MLB player. We have 3,000 hits and 500 home runs. He hit a single against the Colorado Rockies this past Saturday. He became the 33rd member of the 3,000 hit club, and he, like I said, the 7th player to be in Major League history to achieve the milestone and 500 home runs. He got number 3,000 in the first inning against pitcher Antonio Sancetala.
Okay.
I got it. Fellow Venezuelan. So I mean that's kind of like a cool thing. Like you're giving up the 3,000 hit, and it's one of your fellow countrymen.
Absolutely.
Maybe he threw him a meatball. I would have. Hey, you're going to record books forever.
Didn't it happen with Michael Strahan and Brett Favre when Michael Strahan got the sack record? Brett Favre laid down so he could get the sack.
No, did he?
Yeah. Yes.
You
don't remember that?
No,
yes.
he balled up or something.
Yeah, he balled up, and then Michael Strahan, I think he had to do was come tap him while he was on the ground.
Well, that's not even like. That's not. Is that equivalent to a meatball?
How is it not? You're just giving it up,
Yeah.
right? That's exactly the same.
Yeah, but the guy still has to hit the ball.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but you got a guy that has 2,999 hits. You serve one up, you know he's going to hit the damn thing. At least he should.
So the biggest thing was that the Tigers were in New York last weekend.
Yeah,
and they kept walking him, so he wouldn't do it there.
Yeah, so
that's bullshit.
Again, it's the exact opposite of what happened when he actually got his hit. And that's the thing is that you look at some of these all-time players. Pete Rose, obviously, I don't know if anyone's going to actually beat that. He's got 4,200 hits, but
no, that's not going to happen.
Like Jeter, Cal Ripken, Wade Boggs, A-Rod, Ichiro, just most recent one. I think Paul Molitor, Stan Musial. All these amazing players, and he gets to put his name on that man. So, and don't forget, he's a World Series champion from the 2003 Marlins, which much to my chagrin, he is a champion.
Yeah, he is. I think he played third base and shortstop at that point because he was a lot lighter, a lot smaller.
He was. Once upon a time.
Now he's Big Miggy, not still a Little Miggy.
Well, and that's the thing is that I think people forgot about how good Cabrera was, especially once they won that World Series and he went to Detroit. He just stayed there his whole career after that. So I'm kind of surprised that he stayed for so long and he never got traded away like Pujols did, and ended up back with them.
I think the last 2 years would have been the opportunity to trade him. Because bang for your buck, you need a veteran that can hit the ball very well, and he's a good clubhouse leader. But Detroit's like, no, we're going to keep him, and he's going to end his career with us.
Yeah, and good for him. This is, like I said, congrats to Miggy, and it's an amazing feat to me. It's only 33 players in MLB history that ever had this, so good for him. And I think right now he's tied with Clemente.
Wow,
3,000 is Clemente. That's his
exact number, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. For us, it's kind of like bittersweet because it's like this is exciting, but it's also like
one of your rivals.
Yeah,
that's it's like Pujols and Cubs fans. It's the same.
Yeah. Also, it means we're old since we saw his whole career. Yeah. All right. Speaking of New York, story number 2. Hey, Yankee fans, you can go walk into the traffic, man.
Take a long walk off a short pier.
Or off the what is it? What bridges are over there? The Brooklyn Bridge and
Brooklyn Bridge,
the Washington Bridge,
whatever.
Just walk off the bridge. Yankees fans throw trash at the Guardians outfielders after New York win. Did you see this? You saw the video of this?
So are you saying they actually threw trash, or just a bunch of Yankees fans jumped onto the field?
Ooh,
that's kind of
shots fired.
Right?
Yeah, I'm walking here.
A bunch of trash on the field. Yeah.
Yeah, the Yankees are actually in second place in the East. It's horrible. One of the Guardians, I believe he fell making a play, hit his head, so they kept on checking on him. And I guess the Yankees fans were talking shit to the fielder that it happened to. So this other Cleveland outfielder goes out there and he starts climbing up pretty much one of those short walls and arguing, and the fans start throwing stuff at him.
Look, trash people do trash things. That's what it is,
right? And but it's not the first or second time.
And here's the thing. It's not like you're talking about you're some. It's not like the Red Sox or something like that. It's just weird. And when Anthony Fuentes in here talking about the Yankees and Yankees fans, and then how when he was getting shipped off, I think, or in his basic training when they're blowing up his phone when the when the Mets lost in the World Series and all that shit. I mean, that's one thing, but I mean, it's different when you're just playing a very early season, like regular season game, and you just start acting like a bunch of assholes. I mean, like, I think the Cubs fans are the only ones that can really get away with throwing something on the field, and that's a home run.
Yeah, if the opposite team home run, that's understandable. But funny enough, this morning I did see on one of the White Sox pages I subscribe to, Scott Podsednik in that 2005 season, he's leaping towards the wall trying to catch what would be a home run ball, and there's a Yankee fan charged up about to knock him in the face. He did get punched in the face eventually, but that's the type of fans the Yankees are. I mean, come on, guys! You've got to build. You got to have some class.
Yeah. Well, once the Cowboys are out of it, all the Yankee fans start getting riled up for baseball. So they're probably still mad that the fucking Cowboys didn't do shit last year. That's probably what's going on.
Because New York teams suck.
Yeah.
The Giants and the Jets,
and
they don't even play in New York. How about that?
Hey, Yankees fans are probably mad that the fucking Lakers are out of it too. So.
Yeah, those are the two teams.
Yeah, that's how they operate. America's team. Get the fuck out of here. Fucking bums.
All right, story number 3, and this is right up your humor.
Yeah, and this is a feel-good story right here.
Oh, I bet it is. Florida bride and caterer have been charged after serving marijuana-laced food at a wedding.
Where was my invitation?
Yeah, I think it got lost in the mail, brother. A Florida bride and her wedding caterer have been criminally charged after serving food laced with marijuana to the wedding guests, sickening them and sending several to the hospital.
Yeah, they're just freaking out because they didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, Dana something, because I'm not going to pronounce that last name. Shaboa?
Oh, man,
Cebollas. It looks like cebollas.
Because she's crying now she's in prison.
Hey, I'll put that in post for you.
I know Espanol.
Her and Jocelyn Bryant, who catered the wedding, face charges for violating Florida's anti-tampering laws, delivery of marijuana, and culpable negligence. Wow. I mean, upon asking the bride and the group whether they had consented to or requested any of the food to contain cannabis products, the groom said, Andrew Savold.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Savoya. Goya stared at the deputy with a blank expression for a few moments before stuttering, no. He was still high, that's why. How you gonna ask somebody who's high a legit question?
Oh my god.
I don't know.
So I want to know what their
what the food was?
Well, I want to know what their wedding song was. It's like Afro Man or some shit like that.
Because I got high.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I got high. Wow.
What was on the menu?
Lasagna, chocolate covered strawberries, and pudding shots.
Pudding shots.
So you had pudding shots laced with.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pudding. You know what I mean? Like it's a little. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Because you know what? I think one of the most popular ways to infuse cannabis is through butter.
Okay,
that's what they do, is like can of butter, and basically like you can't consume raw herb because it doesn't do anything for you. You actually heating it up is what releases the THC, so that's why people use it for cooking. And like you melt down like a regular butter, you put your stuff in there, you let it heat, and then you actually strain it out. That's how you get your can of butter. So a lot of people will do that, and people put it on toast and eggs and whatever the hell. But yeah, there was a show on Netflix.
Well, look out for your new show.
Yeah, no, I mean, so once I read this story, I was like, okay, well, how does that work? Like, what do they do? But I remember there was actually a show on Netflix. I think Kevin Hart was a guest at one point.
Was it Bronson?
Action Bronson. Action Bronson. It was on there. I think the comedian Ron Funches was on there, and basically it was like they would get served a meal by these chefs.
Well renowned, right?
Whose specialty it would be cooking with cannabis.
Yeah.
So it might have been called Cooking with Cannabis. I don't remember the name of the show because
pretty sure that's what it's called. Because you were
but I mean, this guy right here. I mean, he, like you said, he probably had no idea what the hell was going on anymore. He probably forgot by then. But why didn't he get arrested then?
I mean,
why is the wife and the caterer? So it almost sounds like maybe he didn't know about it, and maybe he was just high and didn't know. What was going on.
He's like, huh? What?
What? Where am I? Who is this lady, and why is she wearing a white dress?
Oh man, I knew you liked that story.
Yeah, man. Hey man, like here's the thing. If you're in the company of those who do partake, then
Yeah.
I get it. But I mean, you can't just spring that shit on people.
No. You gotta have consent, just like everything else, man.
Yeah, dude.
If she says no or he says no, it means no.
That no means no, damn it. Just say no. Thanks, Nancy Reagan. You ruined everything. Where's my deer shirt?
That's what you're gonna say. What's the name of the dog?
Was it? But what did dare? Do you remember what dare stood for? I think it was like drugs are really excellent or something like that.
I think that was the acronym at Saban, not at Diego.
Officer friendly.
Officer friendly. What was the dog's name? Clifford or something?
Oh, you talking about Gruff the crime dog?
Yeah, that one too.
Take a bite out of crime. Yeah, that fucking guy. When he was high too. Fuck him. What kind of dog wears a trench coat? I mean, come on. Okay.
Exactly. That's a whole different subject we're not touching.
Is that lipstick? Oh no.
I'm Big Z, and that's news to me. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Oh, man.
We all know that 2020 was no joke, and with an ever-changing world climate, many people are looking for a new opportunity. Guys, are you looking for a career that rewards effort and makes you feel valued as a team member? Let me tell you a little about our friends at ACSI. ACSI is a certified RCN business agent. They provide the same RCN services with a personalized touch. Their sales and technician teams work hand in hand, ensuring your experience will be smooth and pleasant. Gone are the days of being transferred from one person to the next. At ACSI, they handle everything from start to finish. It's never been so easy to get internet service. ACSI is a growing Chicagoland company that encourages personal growth and rewards perseverance. As they expand, they're looking for passionate, responsible, and honest professionals to join their team. A career with ACSI means you will be part of a hardworking, flexible, and dynamic team that is a leader in the installation of cable and internet services in the Chicagoland area. Best of all, ACSI was awarded Hacia's 2020 Contractor of the Year Award. Are you ready to grow with a local Chicago company on the rise? Check out acsi.tech and click on careers to get started. That's acsi.tech and click on careers.
This is Enrique Calderon coming to you from True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast.
Y te lo dice.
Enrique Calderon.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Yes, sir.
This is 3 Up and 3 Down.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
Yo, E, what's going on with your Cubbies?
Go, Cubs, go! Go, Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win.
Yo, the Cubs scored 3 touchdowns last weekend.
Say what?
Beating the Pirates 21-0 on Saturday. The biggest shutout win in Chicago Cubs history and the biggest Pirates loss since the 1950s. Unfortunately, they ended up going 3-4 or losing 3 out of 4 in the series against Pittsburgh, and they ended up finishing up their last homestand 2-5. This last game we just finished watching, Frank the Tank went up there with bases loaded, and they could not get it done, and they ended up losing by 1 run. I saw a lot of people on Facebook in the group talking about, how are we losing to the Pirates? Stop acting like the Cubs are some superstar team. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, are you not like what?
You're almost at the equivalent of the Pirates. I mean, you have some better talent with Suzuki and Contreras.
Here's the thing: the Pirates, the Reds, the Brewers. If the Brewers are good or bad, the Cardinals. These teams are, because the Cubs are so popular.
Yeah, they get up for them.
They always get up. When we had to play the Rays, after y'all were done with the Rays and they came over to the north side, we played them, and they took 2 out of 3 from us, and then the Pirates came to town and they took 3 out of 4 from us. So I mean, like, we were able to get 1 win against the Rays, it was actually a very good team. I was a little bit surprised that they were able to pull that off. But I mean, yeah, like this one offensive explosion, 21 runs. I mean, it was crazy. Hendricks had a good game. He went 7 innings, no runs, I think no walks. I think it was like 4 hits. So I mean, he did good. But look, I think this is exactly where we thought the Cubs could be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Seiya Suzuki has brought new life to the team on the north side, and he's getting people out there, getting people excited, getting people to think about what could be coming next. People are still bitching about Hayward. People have no idea what to think of Madrigal because he's streaky. So I mean, like, it's just it's where exactly I personally thought the Cubs would be right now. So they're 7-9. They're what the Cardinals are 9-5 again.
Like I told you, like. Everyone in baseball is either hurt or they're still ramping up, especially pitchers. Pitchers take a while to get stretched out. Starting pitchers do. Yeah. And hitters, they're streaky too. They need timing, and then when you're new to a team, you need chemistry. And
it's so early in the season. Like I said,
it is
7-9. I mean that's a football record, right? That's not a baseball record. Is like 100 and whatever. It's like 90. You know what I mean? Like that's your baseball record.
Everyone,
when you get into the season,
calm your tits. It's only it's only the first month. Just relax. Like, everyone is going to be going through these ups and downs that first month. Yeah. You see a lot of teams with 10, 11, 12 wins right now. The only reason is because they don't have that many injuries.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even the Cards at the top of the division right now are 9-5. The Brewers are 9-6. I mean, you're right there, and so it's not like it's not like even 10 wins is like some amazing thing.
No, it's not.
I mean? Like, that's barely above. That's like what like I said, 9-5. But yeah, man, I actually heard you rooting for the Cubs last week on the show. But
yeah,
you're here by yourself. I mean, I didn't even have to give you that influence. I didn't even have to push it on you because
I don't hate the Cubs. I just hate Cub fans.
Yeah, but out loud, okay. Out loud, you out loud says, I hope the Cubs win because you wanted to beat the Rays because it's important for seeding down the line. Yeah. When you are a potential playoff team or a team that has the potential to go on deep into the playoffs, seeding does matter. So winning every game does matter, but I mean,
it adds up at the end. That's the whole point. That's what I was like, hey, y'all kicked their ass. Thanks a lot. We'll try to help you out whenever you need it. It's got to go both ways. Hey, at some point, MLB's going to restructure or realign everybody. And when these two teams are going to be both in the Central, and we're going to play each other more, it might dilute the rivalry. I don't think so. I think these two teams are going to talk shit about each other no matter what.
Look, I mean, my whole point is that I'm just glad that I have receipts of you.
Yeah. Cheering for the Cubs?
That's all I need.
Fine. That's all I need. Doesn't bother me at all.
Just build up my database. All my weapons. Bang, 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 bang. All right, brother. It's been I've been following. I haven't seen every game, but I need you to tell me what the hell is going on the So Site.
White Sox, go, White Sox. Let's go, White Sox. We're with you all the way.
All right, the White Sox. Oh boy. They're facing a case of the deja vus with all these injuries, and as soon as someone comes back, another one goes down. It literally said insert joke here. Oh man, the IL reads like a Bible passage at this point. Man, it is bad. The White Sox injury list is horrible. Let's start off with the top. Josh Harrison, day-to-day with a shoulder. You got Ryan Burr on a 10-day, also shoulder. He's starting his triple A rehab assignment. You got Eloy Jimenez. They put him on a 10-day, but that dude is going to be missing 6 to 8 months with that hamstring injury.
Dude, I mean, it's unfortunate to see Eloy once again go down with an injury. I mean, we saw this happen last year, early enough in the season. And
it wasn't that he wasn't hustling. He was hustling down first.
And that's the thing.
He busted his ass, and that's when he gets hurt.
Right. So, I mean, and that's why sometimes you have to understand your body, right? You have to understand how you should jump, what you can handle, right? I mean, and that's part of it. Do I want you to run as fast as you can? Yeah, but I mean, don't when you're at max, and if you try to push it past that point.
It was weird because his left foot almost missed the first base, and then when he planted with his right foot, it was like a stiff foot. Yeah. So it was all the way extended. So when he landed, and he's a big boy, he put all that pressure on there, and it probably just that's a hamstring injury. I mean, 6 to 8 weeks. You're looking at All-Star game.
Hey man, that's Devin Booker right there. Devin Booker in the NBA playoffs for the Suns right now, dealing with that hamstring injury. I mean, that's no joke, and it's painful.
Yeah, and they take forever to heal.
Yep.
You also got Moncada, who says he's feeling something wrong with his oblique.
Okay.
Yeah. So good luck with that.
Wasn't he feeling sick half of last season because he had COVID?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
At some point,
That's Again, at some point, something's got to give. Again, Robert with the groin.
Yeah.
that didn't play this weekend against Minnesota. Matt Foster's on bereavement. Joe Kelly looks like he's throwing mid-90s right now with no discomfort, so he should be back a couple weeks. Lance Lynn, we know he got the surgery. Crochet, 10 days. Mercedes, 10 days with the broken head. It's just literally. I know. Mercedes been partying I've been watching his Instagram. He's been partying at pools and doing all types of stupid stuff.
What are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like,
he's got no cast, no nothing on his hand. Or a broken hand.
Yeah, but I mean, like, where is it? You know what I mean? Like, is it something that they need to treat? And then, you know what I mean? Whatever it is.
Well, surgery on it.
Injections, shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. But that's the thing is that, you know, aside from if you can't hit, you know, you can run.
Yeah, you can't.
But that's what I'm saying. You can't really catch. If you can't catch,
it
you
hurts
can't
to
throw.
run. It hurts to run if you have a broken hand.
Yeah, because you're swinging your arms around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're running properly. So I mean, what else is he supposed to do? Yeah. If you, who are we thinking about that runs? That was it. Napoleon Dynamite runs with her fucking arms flopping around. Gosh.
God. Yeah. So at this point, let's be honest. The White Sox minor league system is ranked dead last, and at the moment, with the most top tier talent is in the majors already, and then the prospects that are still an A-ball. So they really got nobody to bring up to fill in any spots.
Can I once again bring up the 2015-2016 Chicago Cubs, which is the trajectory that you guys are on? Once again, following the same thing where all of your major talent is at the big league level, and now you have no one to bring up. The Cup, and that's what it is that good teams mean if your team is good, that means that all your picks, all your prospects have panned out, and you've been able to fill in gaps with, you know, some free agents, you know, things like that. You know, and see what you can develop. Sometimes you pick up a project from another team, like the Cubs did with Jake Arrieta, who recently retired, by the way. That was cool too. I think he you know, took to Instagram and talked about that. So talked about Cubs being always his home. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, it's like I said, it's very reminiscent of that time period of the Chicago Cubs, where all your best players are on the major league level, and whatever prospects you do have, you have to trade off. And you see sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. You know, I'm sure that right now the White Sox would still love to have someone like Tatis, even though he's out right now. But I mean, they would love to have him, so you can have TA at second base where his natural position is.
I mean, like you hit the nail right on the head. I mean, there's so much of the talent that's up here right now, and there's nothing we can do. Rick Hahn has his work cut out from him, and what he can do as far as a mid-season acquisition. What can he do? What can he plug in? Because right now, we do have depth at the outfield position. Even though we were down 2 outfielders, we still have Adam Engel and a bunch of guys that we can plug here with Vaughn and Sheets. So that'll be fine. And then AJ Pollock is back. So outfield is going to be fine.
Yeah. I mean,
our issue is second base and third base.
Right. Okay, well, which is your most important part. Right
exactly.
There. You know what I mean? And TA is just in his own. I don't know what is going on with him right now.
I think it's got to be mental. Because it reminds me when his best friend passed away and he started playing like shit. Yeah. So there's something going up in his head.
It's like he's trying too hard. You're trying too hard. You're making.
He had 3 games and he had 6 errors.
But now here's the thing too. So now you're looking at the left side of your infield out. Or I mean, not out. Moncada's out, and then TA is out of his mind, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, I'm gonna call him out, right?
All right.
Because I mean, how many injuries does he have in the past week? Or not injuries,
errors. 3 games, 6 errors.
Yeah, dude. That's a lot for a season.
Yeah,
that's a lot for a whole ass season.
Right, and a middle finger to a fan.
Yeah,
and he's gonna get suspended for 1 game.
Yeah, and Berto's like, yeah, that's my. I was like, okay, calm down, calm your tits, there, Sparky.
Yeah, come on, Berto. Let's be honest. That's not a cool thing to do because Kyrie did it, and guess what? He got fined a lot.
Right.
Money. Yeah.
So now this is what I'm looking at right now. You know, do you think now Sox fans are really hurting at the fact that they didn't try to get someone like Correa?
Yes. Again,
more than before.
Before, yes.
I felt like Sox fans were unhappy with the lack of moves that the Sox did, looking for some of the bigger names around there. It wasn't a ton of big names. I mean, look, Freddie Freeman, Carlos Correa, those are pretty fucking big names.
Those are huge names.
Changing positions, changing teams, okay? I mean, like I said, I wanted Correa on the Cubs because I thought, especially with Suzuki, I mean, it gives you a boost. You got Magical a second, you know what I mean? Like, you're really trying, you shore up your infield, and you need wisdom, and you need Frank the Tank to do well. But again, you're at least showing some competitiveness, right?
Right, and the Cubs would be at that point putting the cement down,
right?
For putting the foundation down for the rest of the house.
And like I said, that brings more free agents. Now,
it does.
He doesn't have that weird contract where he has to opt out after every year in a 3-year deal. But
so hopefully Minnesota sucks.
Well, yeah, except for today when they
whooped us.
Yeah, they did that. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that now I think you guys are actually hurting a little bit more that you didn't go after another like high level free agent, in that sense, because now you're looking at it, it's like, okay, well, TA's struggling right now. Moncada's out. I mean, you think about the fact that even with Moncada out, he's not as good as Correa.
No.
As far as a hitter.
No.
But you have another guy that can bear the load, right? It's just like Zach LaVine needing DeMar DeRozan. Right? You have someone else to carry the load for you. Now you got Lou Bob, who, like you said before, I wasn't sure that he was ready, but I mean, the more and more I look at him, you're correct. This is a guy that does have the potential to be an MVP candidate. He's better than Eloy, and Eloy's out there hurt right now. So Eloy's hurt for what? 10 weeks, All-Star break, you said?
Yep.
I know that Lou Bob has had issues.
Yeah, it's a groin. You give him a couple days, let him rest it.
Groins are tricky, too. Groins are tricky for running and fucking hitting.
That's what I'm saying. Let him rest him.
You know what I mean? So, so what do you got? What are you guys at now? I know that there's a losing streak going on.
Yeah, I think we're down 7 games or something like that. That's bad.
All right, so we can include injuries if you want to.
Okay.
I don't like doing that because every team has to deal with injuries. But looking at the way it is right now, are you more disappointed in the way that the Sox have started the season, or that the way the Bulls ended the season?
Ooh,
bam!
Because this is very similar. Because I was going to ask our guest later on the same thing, but hopefully I remember. The Bulls and the White Sox are in the same trajectory.
Yeah.
Where they peaked early, got to the playoffs, and got spanked. You look,
yeah.
Because last year the White Sox were coasting the entire year in first place, had no pressure. So when they got down to the playoffs, they thought it was nonchalant. Whoa, we'll get past the Houston. No, the fuck you won't. You seen the meme? No, the fuck you won't.
Yeah, no.
So that's looks like what happened with the Bulls. They were, they peaked a little too early. You had DeMar going for 40, 50, and 100 that 1 week, and after that, they've been mediocre, and everyone's figured them out. Right now, the White Sox, our starting pitching has been very good, aside from Velasquez and Keiko. Holy shit! Like you said. Do not let him get on the bus in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean,
leave his ass out there in the 10,000 lakes. Let him drown, because we don't need his ass.
Keiko looks like Jake Arrieta when he came back to the Cubs for his second stint. That's what he's doing right now.
That bad, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's sad because, like I said, him
17 million.
Well,
oh my God, you can't eat that money.
To me, it's not about that. I mean, like, yes, you're upset that you paid a guy that you expected to be a key cog in your rotation. You paid him a lot of money, and that's kind of the risk that you take. Being that he had the championship pedigree with the 2017 Astros, and then he had that weird year where no one was getting signed. Him and Kimbrel signing really late. The Cubs ended up getting Kimbrel, and he ended up going to Atlanta, who was really just trying to see when they could finally get in, where they fit in with them winning the World Series last year. So I mean, it was a risk that you guys took, right? And that's what it is. I mean, you're looking to see if a guy that definitely had some success early in his career, if he can find that again. But I mean, you look at your rotation right now. I know that you're missing Rodon, even though.
Oh yes.
But again, let me remind you about Carlos Rodon. He was not that good before he kind of got that resurgence after he was released and then brought back last season.
Well, he
had to find it.
He was on he was on a prove it deal.
Right, exactly, and then he proved it.
He proved it, and he got paid.
Right, and that's the thing, is that sometimes it's the same thing what happened with Kyle Fuller. Kyle Fuller was really good his first season with the Bears. He went down 2 seasons in a row where he just wasn't very good. He got to season 4 where he was going to see if they were going to pick up his 5th year, and then he balled out, and then he ended up he got a little bit of a deal, and then they ended up shipping him off to Denver, because at that point he was too expensive for a team that really wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
But it's very similar to that. It's like, it's a prove it deal. Okay, well, he proved it, and it's just like, well, how do we know this is a fluke versus something that could be long term? I mean, you could look at another guy like Yu Darvish in the same light. When he had to kind of prove it again all over again. So, I mean, it's interesting to see what's going to happen with this team. But you still haven't answered my question.
Oh, which one's worse right now?
Right now, which one is more disappointing? The start of the Sox season or the end of the Bulls season?
The end of the Bulls season.
That's more disappointing
right now, because the start of the White Sox. I mean, we're still at the beginning of the baseball season, so they still have time to right the ship. You still have time to get back from injury. You still have time to make acquisitions. Right now, we're at the end of the rope with the Bulls.
Right.
We're walking the plank because we're about to get pushed off that boat.
Yeah.
Because this game, and I said it. They're gonna get swept. If anything, they win 1 game, and because they don't change their game plan.
No, and you're right, man. I mean, I can't wait to talk to Lex Cruz a little bit later about this and really get in depth with it. But I mean, like, you know, I look at it right now, and one thing that I remember that I said about the White Sox before the season began was that it's going to be important for them to get off to a hot start. Yeah, because then once they go into May, you know, the end of May, and you get into June, and you start to get into some dog days a little bit. I mean, you want to have some type of cushion. Yeah, you want to have that type of cushion so that you can be able to come back if your team has some injuries and you kind of go down and you have a losing streak like this. And this is very reminiscent of the Bulls going down early, and now you got to fight your way back. So a 7-game losing streak to begin. Again, it's early in the season, but it's you don't want that to snowball.
No, you don't. And to your point of Rodon, his first start, 5 innings, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts. Second one, he gave up 1 run, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. His third outing, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. He has an ERA of 1.06.
So again, I mean, this reminds me very much of this reminds me of Jake Arrieta, right? Because I mean, like, he had struggles early in the season. He found it out. He got comfortable with the team, and then he balled out when a team showed that they believed in him. Now like I said, he had to come back from the fact that he was cut last year. He came out and proved himself, and hey, he got paid by someone else, and that's just how it works out sometimes.
Agreed.
So I mean, like, I'm happy for him that him and his wife can be very happy now, and they don't have to sit there and bitch people out
on Twitter.
But look, like I said, early in the season, they're 6-9 right now. They're in 3rd place because with that loss to the Twins today, that pushes them back a little bit, and the Twins are only 500. Right?
Yeah, and before I get into some good news, let's face it, like, I expressed on this show many times, and you see my frustration. Tony La Russa, he's got to go. He's got to go. I can't continue to watch the team play Lurie Garcia, who's got like an 0.82 average. Larry playing bad defense, and he can't hit water. He fell out of a boat. Also, TLR's not making the right substitutions. He's costing us games
because he doesn't know who's on the team.
No, he doesn't. He's like, hey, McGuire, get out there at first. Bonds. Oh, wait, you weren't on my team, Bonds. No. But you were doing drugs with all these guys anyways.
Why are you always in the clubhouse? What are you doing here? It's like when you're in high school and you keep showing up to your buddy's class, and the teacher's like, who are you? Why are you here?
Yeah.
You're like, don't worry about it. We're just getting ready to cut class next period. No worries.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so White Sox, get it together. I need a win because I'm going next weekend, and I expect decent weather and a win.
Look, I mean, I'm going to piggyback on your thoughts about Tony La Russa because, again, A.J. Hinch was there.
Yep.
And you did not.
He was legit hired.
Yeah.
And then the owner stepped in like, no, I want this old man to come in and manage.
Yeah. It was a huge mistake, and it's frustrating because I feel like the potential that this team has, they're just right now not living up to it. And I'm like I said, my biggest fear right now is that it's going to snowball for them, and you just don't want this team to get out of control. No. You have to find a way to fight back, and you have to get some of these guys that are playing substitution innings for the guys that are hurt right now to have that confidence, and you didn't want to have to lean on them so early in the season.
No, same thing just like the Bulls, the injuries. You're leaning on these guys who are not supposed to be playing every day. Larry Garcia, again, yes, he's a Swiss Army knife, but yeah, play him once or twice a week, not every day.
Yeah, he's a knife, but he's fucking dull.
Yeah,
right.
A dull knife.
Like, yeah. So I mean, like, yes, is he functional? Sure. You know what I mean? Will he show up and put on a uniform? Absolutely. Is he gonna be that sharp? Not really.
Not really.
You know what I mean? Like,
he's a body.
Yeah.
It's like when you're playing, softball, co-ed softball or whatever, softball for shits, and you're like, we need one more guy.
Yeah.
We need one more guy, one more girl, just to be. Put him in right field. Put him in right field. Just hide him over there.
Yeah, anyone. Yeah, fuck. You're like, you bring the beer and you're in.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't with you. All right, so if I know AJ Hinch is off the table, obviously because he's over there in Detroit and coaching very well. Who can we put in if TLR is given the boot tomorrow?
I mean, look, I'm about to jump on the bandwagon with you. Ooh. I'm about to jump on the bandwagon with you. You know what I mean? Because, like, look, one thing that I think the right mentality is for a Southside team, a Southside Chicago team, is that grit, right? And the Grit Clothing Company, right?
Hey, look at that.
You like that tie.
I do.
Shameless plug for them. But Yeah, I mean, look, we watched the post game after the Sunday game, right?
Mm-hmm.
We saw the first thing, fucking Ozzy with his foot up on the table, using his phone with the pop socket on the back and the light on, and fucking you saw Frank fucking just like half keeled over on the sofa, like, I can't believe this just fucking happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, Frank looks like he's gonna fucking like throw a Nugenix bottle at somebody. He was so pissed off.
He's like a shameless plugs. Come on, it's not Ryan Sandberg.
Oh man, you want to talk about hair plugs? But yeah, I mean, look, that's the frustrating thing. You know what I mean? Like, did they? I mean, Ozzy said that. Yeah, I'll get if it was between me and La Russa, you know, I'm more than happy to give it to La Russa if I'm in that position to make that decision. You know, that's the kind of mentality he was giving out. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know, man. I just feel like they have to do something, and then they got to start with the manager, because I just feel like he's not getting the job done. And I
don't think he's doing
just a fucking favor. I don't know if he's going to last the season if it keeps going this way. You know what I mean? Let's say, God forbid, they lose like 10 more games in a row.
Yeah,
he's gone.
You have to fire him.
He's fucking gone.
You have to fire. And that's the thing, is that Rick Hahn is going to have to answer to the owner.
Yep.
And that's the problem. It's like, I got to fire him.
Yeah.
He's not doing his job.
Yeah. And you're going to be like, Jerry, what do I do? He's like, I'm Moonlight as Bob Dylan impersonator. Fucking guy. Yeah, I mean, come on. You have to do something, because the manager is not getting it done. I mean, point blank, that's what it is.
And then at that point, you need the complete opposite of him.
Dude, and I think that I think the only reason that he got fucking hired, because he's the only one who could decipher what the fuck Jerry's saying. They speak the same bored ass old man stuttering and rumbling and fucking they're the only ones that understand each other. So
But they have nice calligraphy.
I guess. I mean, that's when you had to take handwriting in second grade. Yeah, back in the fucking 1920s.
Jesus, he was the founder of Old English.
Speaking of Jesus, I think he was one of their classmates.
Oh!
All right, fans, we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
We all know that 2020 was no joke, and with an ever-changing world climate, many people are looking for a new opportunity. Guys, are you looking for a career that rewards effort and makes you feel valued as a team member? Let me tell you a little about our friends at ACSI. ACSI is a certified RCN business agent. They provide the same RCN services with a personalized touch. Their sales and technician teams work hand in hand, ensuring your experience will be smooth and pleasant. Gone are the days of being transferred from one person to the next. At ACSI, they handle everything from start to finish. It's never been so easy to get internet service. ACSI is a growing Chicagoland company that encourages personal growth and rewards perseverance. As they expand, they're looking for passionate, responsible, and honest professionals to join their team. A career with ACSI means you will be part of a hardworking, flexible, and dynamic team that is a leader in the installation of cable and internet services in the Chicagoland area. Best of all, ACSI was awarded Hacia's 2020 Contractor of the Year Award. Are you ready to grow with a local Chicago company on the rise? Check out acsi.tech and click on careers to get started. That's acsi.tech and click on careers.
Hey guys, this is Mike Deportes and you're listening to True Chicago Sport Fans Podcast.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Yeah.
This is The Bottom Line.
And that's the bottom line.
In this segment, we discussed the biggest Chicago sports stories topic of the week. And this week, It's none other than the Chicago Bulls and the disappointment.
Yeah, man, Chicago Bulls in the playoffs. Today's special guest is Lex Cruz. He is an instructor at the Illinois Media School. This man is a jack of all trades. A coach by day from middle school. He's an audio engineer by night at Jungle AE. And he is your friendly neighborhood producer, artist at I Feel Nocturnal. Lex, what's up, brother?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're great. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's last time we talked was on Mike Logic's All Net podcast, and I think we were discussing what moves the Bulls had made before the season. And I know before that you were on one of his episodes too. So it's now that we're on the other side of the season,
pretty much,
and actually in the postseason. I mean, I know that you probably know a lot more NBA stuff than we do because we watch the Bulls. But we're not like crazy NBA fans like you and Mike are. So I mean, like,
gotcha.
Let me start it off with this because I don't think that looking at the way that the Bulls ended the regular season, I don't think a lot of people, at least Chicago fans and national pundits, really had a lot of high expectations for the Bulls going into the playoffs. But I mean, based on the start that the Bulls had and where they are now, I'm going to give you a comparison because I'm looking at what's going on with the Nets too. So who would you say is a bigger disappointment right now, the Bulls or the Nets in the playoffs?
Oh, no, I'm going with Nets. I'm going with Nets.
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, you got Kevin Durant and Kyrie fully healthy and, tweaking their team. And it's not even like, the games are close with Boston. And they did draw a bad seed in playing against Boston, who got super hot, right? Yes. They were basically the opposite of the Bulls this season, right?
Right.
They got super hot at the end, but like before all of this, everyone was saying, "Oh, Lakers Nets in the finals."
Yep.
Right, where everyone with the Bulls are like 6th seed at best.
Yeah, I think Z was calling him maybe a 4.
I was calling him a 4. Yeah, I was calling him a 4, but just because of the tons of injuries and the whole Kyrie situation, I didn't expect the Nets to climb up. I knew they had a late surge push into it that they would have, but I was like, okay, the Bulls are going to be a 4, and then they started playing well, and they became a 1, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is exceeding expectations. This is great, but I'm like, there's no way they're going to stay 1 with the defending champs in the same division, in the same conference. It's not going to happen. And like you said, Boston got hot at the right time.
Yeah.
And that made a huge difference. And so did Miami. And Miami got on a little burner itself. And they climbed up the charts, the standings. And that's what ended up happening. They just went on a backslide, and it showed that these Bulls can't hang with the big boys.
Agreed. And it's not even like, we have the big three. Yeah. And we have great people in those positions. I think people underrate how much not having Lonzo Ball.
Yep.
And it's not even so much just that how good Lonzo Ball is. It's the fact that now you have your second string point guard as the main, right? And then that means our backup point guard is who? Ayo and Kobe.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Ayo is a rookie, and Kobe, who's not really a point guard.
Nope.
And like you saw it in today's game, like that. Kobe not being able to handle the ball handle pressure, right? The ball pressure, and which is fine. You run him as a 2 guard coming off screens and stuff like that. Yeah. Cool, but what we're asking him to do, it looks like that's not playing to his strength.
Well, and then with Kobe especially, is like I feel like when he came into the league, I wasn't really impressed with him that much. Even watching him in the tournament at North Carolina, but when he did, I feel like his skill set is similar to Zach. He's not quite at where Zach could be, because I feel like Zach has also disappeared during these playoffs. You see him stand in the corner, wait for someone to pass him the ball, and I think what's happening is that the whole team, because they got, and I've talked about this before, because they were so hot so early, they peaked too soon. Everyone caught up to them, and again, you're playing the defending champs, who even without Middleton, you see Bobby Portis go out there and catch fire. You see Grayson Allen's bitch ass catch fire. And that's the thing, is that they're getting a lot of scoring where I don't think necessarily what the Bulls were expecting them to. And then I'm to be honest with you, like, I'll say Pat Williams coming back at the end of the season, he didn't have enough time, and I've been preaching for a couple years. I feel like the development of Patrick Williams is the biggest factor on this team right now, because you know what Zach LaVine is, even looking for a max contract right now, but you really don't know what Pat Williams is. He kind of came out of nowhere, drafted number 4 overall in a spot where no one expected him to get drafted. I mean, he was a 6th man of the year playing for FSU, and then the Bulls drafted him 4th overall, and everyone was like, where did this guy come from? But what I will say is that towards the end of the season, you saw some of his skills, the way he can finish around the basket, but he's just not, he really needed this year of development to get stronger, to get his basketball legs underneath him. And then aside from that, the fact that Lonzo's been out for so long now, and the fact that Zach's had the knee injury, he's not playing up to 100%. They're getting to the point where they're like suffering from Michael Jordan syndrome, where they just stand around and watch and see what's going on with DeRozan, and they're just waiting for him to do everything. And Zach is guilty of that too. Like I said, you find him half the time in a corner spectating and not getting into play. And the other thing that drives me nuts about this team is you never see them crash the offensive boards. They're running down the court when the ball is still in the air. You got to crash that and try to get a tip in, something. I know I would expect Vucevic to be running down because he's not as fast as the other guys. But I mean, even Tristan Thompson, he gives up really easily. I don't see Pat Williams trying to get up there and get the boards. And I mean, you see Caruso trying to get boards more than anyone else on the Bulls.
They didn't have an offensive rebound until 6 minutes into the third quarter.
Oh my goodness.
And it was by either Javonte Green or Derrick Jones Jr. One of those two was the first offensive rebound. And I mean, that's pathetic. And then you also don't have not many assists, because what it is, they just hand off the ball off, and they just hand off the ball off, and then here's the screen at the top, the screen at the top, I have to shoot the ball because I got 2 seconds left. And then it's a brick. It's a forced shot. It's not into the. It's not in the flow in the offense. And so I wanted to ask you, Alex, who's at fault for this stagnant offense? Is it the players being bullheaded? Don't mind the pun. Or is it Billy Donovan not adapting to the opponent?
I think it really just goes back to not having our point guard, because I remember watching games with Lonzo where he's not only keeping the offensive team, the offensive players accountable, but I remember on defense too, he's yelling at everyone not doing the correct coverages, right? So he's the quarterback of both the offense and the defense. And then you take that away, then everyone just is like, well, what do I do? Let's just watch each other try and score in ISO. And I mean, you can design plays, you can set up a system in the offense, Billy Donovan can do all of that. But, at the end of the day, it's the players on the court. And, again, I don't blame them, because it's not like DeMar is naturally a point guard. It's not like Levine's naturally a point guard. Even Caruso, he's a point guard, but he really is more of a 6-man combo guard.
Yeah.
Right? And then you look at Ayo and Kobe. So then that really leaves the only ball handling organizer, facilitator of our offense is only Lonzo. And we haven't had him for months.
No, and the thing is that I have to give it up to the front office for the way that they put this team together. I mean, considering the fact that the Bulls hadn't been in the playoffs in 5-6 years now.
Yes.
And they didn't have a playoff win since 2012 or something like that, because last time they played they just got mollywomped. But I mean, like, considering the fact that they brought in, even recognizing a guy like Ayo coming out of college and being able to snag him in the second round, and the way that they reconstructed the starting lineup, it was really impressive to get a guy like Lonzo Ball, and I still remember when everyone's like, DeMar DeRozan, that's the worst signing, and Lonzo Ball was the best signing. DeMar DeRozan was the worst signing. But you see how critical both of those players have been to this team in this season, and you're right. I mean, I think the fact that they don't have Lonzo Ball, that you have to push Caruso further up and have him start. You have to sit there, and now Ayo he's a rookie. He has not played this many games in a season in his life.
Right.
And even at this point in his career, Kobe White, 3-4 years in, he is what he is. I don't see him changing. It's not like Jimmy Butler, where we saw him improve every single year. I haven't really seen improvement of Kobe White, and sometimes I feel like he's just scared out there.
Yeah, and one of the difference, I was watching the Minnesota game last night. Amazing, great game, but Anthony Edwards was calling for the ball, demanding it, and he was pretty much ball handling at the end of the game, right? And pretty much being the point guard, not D'Angelo. And I feel like it's that little piece is what's missing from the Bulls. Like that person that's just like that can bring up the ball and says, "Give me the ball." I mean, DeRozan can do that, but like
you don't want him to do that.
Yeah,
you don't want exactly. You don't want him to do that.
Yeah, and I agree with you that there's no alpha in the room right now.
Right.
And that's the biggest part of it, that, you know, you'll see DeRozan come up with the ball and he'll pass it to Vooch, and Vooch passes it back to DeMar, and everyone's just standing like, "Hey, DeMar, what you gonna do?"
Yeah.
And then the same thing with Zach. So it's like they take turns, and it's like, guys, if you cut to the basket as soon as you pass the ball, you're taking the defender down with you.
Yep.
And if you stay there, all you're doing is trapping your ball handler, which is usually DeMar or Zach. And Zach is not a good ball handler. And DeMar will take a shot with 3 people on him because no one else is open because they're just standing there at the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is that when I compare Kobe White to Zach LaVine, I mean, these two guys love to turn the ball over, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's another reason why they're similar. And you, if you're gonna sit there and give Zach a max contract, you can't have a shittier version of him coming off the bench, right? Like, what's the point of that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to do with Kobe White at this point.
Well, I mean, that's my next question to Alex is like, what do we do with this bench? Because the bench has been non-existent in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but they've been pushed up. They've all had to be pushed up. And again, remember, Pat Williams is just coming back.
Yeah.
Oh no, I mean, Pat Williams is a starter. I'm not looking at that. So I'm looking at, okay, Ayo obviously is going to be back. You're looking at Derek Jones, Kobe White, Javonte Green, Tristan Thompson won't be back, and Troy Brown. Those are your players. Who's coming back?
The only ones coming back is Caruso and Ayo. That's what I think AK is going to do, because everyone else has an expiring contract, or Kobe has 1 year left, which is tradable.
Right.
And so like your bench pieces from 7 to like 10, I think that's where AK Acme, right? Acronym. Acme is going to focus on. Like, I doubt they're going to change the core, because when all the pieces are there, the core like reruns smooth, right? And then if we're missing something, it's our bench becomes lacking. So you retool the bench players from 7 through 10 so that you have better bench players there. Like, if you were to compare our benches to other benches, that 7 through 10 position, like, we're not.
No, we're definitely lacking, and the biggest comparison would be another Bulls team. You look at the early 2010, 2012 Bulls, the bench mob. That's what they were known for, because they would come in and they would extend leads. They wouldn't give up. They wouldn't give up points. You had Taj Gibson playing out of his mind, way above what we thought we were going to get with him. You had CJ Watson, right? You had all these type of players that. They were garbage players, but they played hard for Tibbs.
But it's not even about garbage. I mean, like, you want to talk about garbage? I'm gonna tell you about 2 players on this team that need to be dropped off on fucking. You know, they need to like not get back
on Madison and Pulaski.
Leave them somewhere, and that's Tony Bradley, because this guy looks like he forgets how to run. I mean,
oh my God.
It's ridiculous. I mean, he has no control over his body, and then you see him go for a board. And it feels like he got he got butterfingers, because he gets near the ball and that shit just goes out of bounds. And the other one, and I've been talking about him all year, and I have no idea how he's in the NBA in the first place, is Matt fucking Thomas. How did this guy survive this long on this team when they were getting rid of players left and right, when they were trying to make room for a guy like Tristan Thompson, when they're trying to figure out like how they're going to fill out this bench, when they brought up Simonovic, like. You're sitting here with fucking Matt Thomas still on this team for some unknown reason. I don't understand it.
I mean, we need that shooter. That was our solution, that shooter.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. See how that worked out for you, Matt fucking Thomas. Matt Thomas. Golly. But so what I was saying earlier about Pat Williams just now coming back, I'm not talking about him being a bench player. I'm talking about the fact that people had to fill in for him as a starter for the whole season. So again, with Lonzo Ball, with Pat Williams out most of the season, very early on, you saw when they had all their starters intact and the whole starting lineup intact, that they were able to get out ahead and do what they did. And then halfway through the season, they had to keep filling in. So now you got Javonte Green starting, and it's like, oh my God, the baby, here he comes. You know what I mean? And that was I mean, that was cool, you know. And Ayo coming off the bench is extremely impressive. But I mean, then you were without AC for a while because he had COVID, because he got hurt with the wrist injury. And you just, it's been a very, a patchwork offense and a patchwork starting lineup for a good portion of the season. And they just really, again, I mean, I don't think this should surprise anybody because of the way that we saw what they did at the end of the season. And they did not do well against teams with winning records at all during the season whatsoever. So, I mean, this shouldn't shock anybody.
I mean, this is the first win against a top team in
all year season.
All year. I was trying to tell people, like, in this string of when we were losing, I'm like, you guys realize we're starting a 4th string power forward and a 3rd string point guard.
Well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's crazy.
And the shame of it is that, like, this season with DeMar DeRozan, like, really, I mean, he had some very good years in Toronto, but I feel like coming to a team like the Chicago Bulls, like the LA Lakers, like the Knicks, even the Heat for that matter. I mean, you're coming to one of the premier franchises in the NBA, and you're going to get more recognition and more focus on you because of the team that you play for, and you play in the house that Jordan built. And when he was able to do what he did early in the season and continue that throughout the year, he's running out of gas too, right? Because you're talking about a guy that's 33, 34 years old, and my fear is that this is going to be that one breakout kind of year, post being on the Spurs and kind of being flushed into anonymity for a little bit. I feel like now you come to a premier team and all your effort and all your hard work and all your amazing play this season is going to be completely wasted. And I'm very skeptical that he's going to be able to keep this up when he's 1 year older.
Here, let me ask you guys this comparison. I was looking at this Bulls teams and the type of players that it reminds me of. To me, this Bulls team, the way they're constructed, they kind of remind me of the 08 Celtics, with an exception, right? So you got DeMar as like the Paul Pierce.
Okay.
You got Zach LaVine. He plays like Ray Allen. He plays more like Ray Allen than any other shooting guard.
Okay.
And then Lonzo is like pretty much like around defensive, high IQ, passing point guard.
Okay.
Right. The thing that the Celtics had though was a KG.
Yep.
Who was the animal, right?
Yeah, it's still in the prime.
Which is what's completely missing on this current Bulls team.
No,
we don't have one of those.
Yeah, we need a monster to hit the boards, and we don't have that.
Well, you need a monster, and that's the thing is, like, I really feel like, especially watching the way that Williams played when he came back from injury, that he played like 1 or 2 games at the very end of the season.
Yeah.
But watching him finish around the basket. Now, again, he's actually smaller than I thought he was because he's only 6'7". I thought he was closer to 7 feet. But I mean, he still has a lot of potential. And I think he can be a very good finisher around the basket. And his shot is not terrible either. I mean, like he seems like the time that he had off where he wasn't playing games, he developed his game a little bit further. But again, there's nothing like actual in-game action versus just playing practice.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I mean, if we had him for the whole season, and his game developing, that's what kind of stinks is that they don't get a chance to really evaluate him. So like, we have to run it back with the full team to really be able to see. But I will say that's kind of the hopeful part about how they constructed the team is like with all the contracts and all the players, it's very easy for Acme to be able to like pull the rug out of it and then rebuild in another quick fashion.
Yes.
And get assets. Like if this doesn't work, they're set up where they can reset real easily and like not in a way where horrible.
Yeah, I mean we're not stuck with like huge contracts or anything like that. Yeah. But again, now when it comes down to it, we talk about rebuilding it and figuring out how you're going to finish rounding out this team. Because again, you got a guy who was impressive in his amateur career like Simonovic. We're still waiting to see what kind of role he'll play once we kind of push out guys like bum-ass Tony Bradley. Get him out of here now. I mean, like I said, don't even let him. If when they go back up to Milwaukee for the last game, just leave his ass there.
Don't let him back on the bus,
bro.
So let me tell you, I was running SAD for the Windy City Bulls for a couple of games, a G League team over at Hoffman. So I got to see Simonovic up close near the end of the season, and he definitely got stronger. But I mean, there's a big difference from like seeing him play in G League and then where he needs to be at to be able to get quality minutes on the bench.
Yeah,
Like, there's a reason why he's not playing.
No, and he definitely has some development, but I mean, like, he is. I feel like he is another guy that could be a key to what they want to do with this team. You know, I think you're absolutely right when you talk about a guy like Lonzo Ball, and I've called him the quarterback of the team all season. And you know, the way that he sees the court. I mean, Mike Logic has been all over Lonzo Ball, you know, because he loves balls, but he's been all over the whole Ball family for years and years. And he was like, "Oh man, I wish I could get that ball in my hands," and he just kept talking about it. And guess what? Now they finally got him, and unfortunately, you know, I really didn't think much of Lonzo Ball when he first came into the league. His shot was so ugly. I couldn't imagine where he could fit, and I think he's found his niche because he's not like his brother. He's not like Melo at all. You know what I mean? Like, he is a much different player. I think it'd be cool to one day see the two of them play together because their games are so different. But for now, you're not wrong. It is a shame to know that you have that person on your team and is injured and has that talent and has what you need to get this team going where they wanted to go, and just unfortunately it just didn't work out.
So let me ask you guys this. So, you know, we kind of see that where they're going to retool are those bench pieces, right? So what type of players do you see from the bench players from 7 down to 10? What do you think they're going to add? What type of player do you think we need in those ranges?
I mean, what I have seen is that the AK has done a great job with their scouting and being able to grab these players that are not as known and put them on a roster. Like, I mean, next year you've got free agents such as John Wall, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, Kyrie Irving, Zach LaVine, obviously, Ricky Rubio. I think Ricky Rubio would be a great fit for a backup point guard.
That'd be dope.
And then because the rest of the guys can fall into the slots of being shooting guards.
Right.
I mean, I don't want Andre Iguodala. He's older than.
But I'm gonna tell you what. The guy that I don't see it happening. But the guy that I would literally put shit. You can mortgage the United Center if you want to. is DeAndre Ayton, man, because they need a big guy, and you know what? They need a big guy, and they also need a guy that's the asshole of the team, right? Because you have AC who's annoying, but you got to be the guy that riles people up. And there is not one player on this team that just pisses people off, right? Even at least from Milwaukee, you got Grayson Allen because, again, he's a bitch. And you have Bobby Portis, who has developed his game so much better. He can shoot. He's aggressive. He gets under your craw. And, you know, as long as he's not wearing those goggles, his eyeball would just fucking stare a hole through your forehead. You know what I mean? So that, you know what I mean? Like, I would love a Bobby Portis back on this team because why did they have to get rid of him in the first place? Because he's over here fighting with people and they're like, all right, man, I guess it's time to go. And but yeah, I mean, like, absolutely. I think to me, that's the guy that you would have to find a way to go all in on. But I just don't see it happening. But that, you know, even Nurkic from Portland, I mean, like, he's a big guy and he's what, 27 years old. I mean, if you go in on a guy like that, I mean, you have him and Vucci Mane together. I mean, you know, that wouldn't be a bad pairing.
Did you guys see who they were trying to trade for in the trades at a trade deadline?
No, who?
Yeah,
it was going to be Mitchell Robinson from New York.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a free agent, and they were just thinking, well, maybe New York will just get, since they're not going to re-sign him to a big contract.
Yeah, I did see a little bit of that, and they were also trying to get that one kid from the Spurs too.
Yeah.
Speaking of New York is going to release Derrick Rose at the end of the season.
Yep.
What?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they already announced that.
Really?
They're parting ways at the end of the season for him to be able to go to a team that he wants to go to contend.
So
you bring him home.
What do you think?
You bring him home.
Here's my thing is that I've said for years that Bulls fans don't deserve Derrick Rose because his biggest fault was that he just wasn't good at public speaking, right? He didn't really he didn't know how to express what he wanted to express in the right way.
Doesn't have the IQ.
100%. I mean, I think Derrick Rose, like, basketball IQ is high. I think his IQ is probably not that bright. I mean, probably very much so like Devin Hester, right? If you ever listen to Devin Hester talk, you're like, oh my God.
And I got stories for both of them, but yeah.
There's no way that you know how to read, right? Devin Hester, like, they have to put his number on his shit because he doesn't know that that's his last name. right? So that's I mean, but I mean, I think Derrick Rose is smarter than that. I just don't think he's as well spoken to be articulate enough to say what he wanted to say when he was thinking about how long it was going to take him to come back from injury, and fans just berated him for it. Oh, you're not. I was like, hold the fucking phone, man. I mean, like this is the only man that really knows how he feels, how his knee feels. I mean, the trajectory that he was going to go on at that point. I mean, he's going to probably more than likely be the only MVP in league history to not make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, the youngest MVP ever.
I mean, let's say he does join a winning team and does win a title. Does that qualify him to go to Hall of Fame?
I mean, not if he's a key player. He's not a key player. You know what I mean? If he's not a starter, you know. I mean,
but imagine D Rose filling in Kobe White's minutes.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll pay for the flight ticket right now.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, I would take Derrick Rose over Kobe White right now, even in his 30s.
Yeah, and that's who they were trying to sign him over the summer. And I remember Caruso was talking about it. He was like, "Oh, I thought it was going to be me or Rose," and he was like, "But somehow the front office worked it where it was going to be both of us." But New York offered him just a gigantic amount of money, and that's how we didn't land Rose. So like it was going to be Derrick Rose, Caruso, Lonzo, and DeRozan as our free agent side.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
And so now maybe it is possible.
It would be a different story we'd be talking about right now.
Yeah.
All right. So another player that was previously on the Bulls roster and it was actually a fan favorite was Thad Young.
Yes.
You know, he'll be 80 right here. So he's
also be 80 years old.
34. He'll be 34. He's no longer Thad Young. He's Thad old now. But I mean, again, this is a guy that I think, the reason why he worked so well on a team like the Pacers, because at the time they had, again, a couple of assholes, the guys that get under your craw, the guys that sit there and just annoy the hell out of you. And I would definitely welcome him. And one player that I was kind of disappointed that they didn't find a way to bring back was Daniel Tice. I feel like he was another guy.
He was that guy that you're talking about, that nasty dude that you need on the team.
And guess where he is now?
With the Celtics.
He went back to Boston.
Celtics.
Yeah, he did.
So,
playing crucial minutes.
Yeah.
And you saw
doing exactly what we need.
And we did, and what we saw at the end of the season when they brought him in. I mean, and you got you had Mo Wagner for like, you know, a cup of coffee, not even that. I mean, I think he walked past a coffee shop, he didn't get a whole cup of coffee. And then, you know, Vucci, man, at the end, and you know, I think that Vooch is actually doing what he did in Orlando. He's, you know, I think people are like, well, why doesn't he do this or why doesn't he do that? That's not who he is. He's doing exactly what
playing
he
his
did when
game.
he played in Orlando.
Yeah.
He's getting his 20 points and 10 rebounds and 4 assists.
Right.
That is his game.
And he's got that little, you know, he's streaky with the shooting, but he was consistent enough in game 2 when they got the win, or actually in game 3 in the very beginning.
Yeah, he started off pretty hot.
Yeah, when they did the little back pass a couple times, and then what happened is that DeMar and Zach started relying on that, because if you remember, there was that one back pass where like he wasn't even there, and they're like, oh fuck, because they just I feel like Zach gives up trying to get to the basket too.
Oh yeah, he sits around the 3-point line in the corner, and it's like, well, I guess I'm just gonna take this mid-range jumper. No, dude, we got you to drive to the basket. Be aggressive. If your shit gets packed, so what? You get a foul.
Yeah. At least
I will say that was a good adjustment Milwaukee made. Was you know, once they realized, Vooch is actually the hub of the offense, they just started attacking the passing lanes to Vooch. And
right, and then because we don't have any shooters.
Yeah. Game.
Game, set, match. That's the end of the story. So unless they have a different plan against the Milwaukee Bucks, expect the same result on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So here's a couple things about Zach LaVine that I wanted to ask you about, Lex. And one of it is something that Z and I have actually disagreed about, and that is, you know, with Zach's history of knee injury, do you think that he should have played and participated in the All-Star break?
Yes. I mean, from my understanding, from how they worded it and the reports I read, it was there's nothing you're going to do that's going to make it worse.
Yeah.
And there's also nothing that you can do to make it better. So it's like you have to live with how it is until we can address it in the off season. So to me, that just says like, if there's no way to improve it, you might as well just play. But unless like the way that you're playing hurts your team, then it's like,
which it did towards the end of the season.
Which it did.
So that's what I'm saying. He could have took those extra days off, and we could have pushed.
But again, like Lex said, I mean, if it's not going to benefit you, or if it's not going to get any worse, you know, just as it is, just by playing and not like having some other catastrophic injury.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the way that I looked at it, and this is the way that I've been explaining it and my logic behind it, why he should have played. You know, this is a guy that has been fighting for 7 years now, 8 years in the NBA to be an all-star, to be a name, and now you're starting to see him get some recognition with a couple of commercials, right? You see him with the Mountain Dew commercial and with Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you know, and he had another commercial too. I forgot what it was for, but I mean, you're seeing a guy who just is trying to come into his own as a superstar in the NBA. I think his talent level is there, but I just don't think he's aggressive enough to be at a superstar level. You know, we saw him just sign that new contract with New Balance, you know, to get a shoe deal. So I mean, like, he is doing whatever he can to put himself in the spotlight to become a star in the NBA. You know, I feel like he could be. He could be. I don't think he's quite as good, but I think he could be on the level of like someone like Dame. You know what I mean? Like, where you're starting to see him, his stars start to rise a bit. I just don't. I feel like Zach LaVine is just not exactly where he would like to be in his career as far as his celebrity status, if you want to put it that way. And him taking the opportunity, because again, you know, DeMar's been in a few All-Star games. Zach, this was just his second All-Star game. Right. So that was my thing, is that, all right, he's got to go out there, he's got to show out. He's won dunk contest. He wants to be the one player in history to win the dunk contest and the three-point contest. Yeah. So I mean, that was my reasoning for why I think he should have played and why he was in the right to play. But I mean, you know,
I agree with you. And like, I think even too, like, you know, as the end of the season happened and we saw that, okay, obviously Zach and the knee is preventing him from being as aggressive all the time. Like, they could have come up with a couple different plays to just run him off screens, or, you know, kind of use him more like Clay, off the ball type of things. And I don't know if I don't think they've adjusted to that. And I mean, it is hard to just randomly switch your offense in the middle of a season.
Right.
So I don't blame them either. And to, like, you know, change your role like that fast, especially when your roster is just constantly in flux. So, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's just kind of like, I think for the Bulls this season, they did the best that they could. I couldn't expect anything more for what they have and the situations that happened. I think they did a great job. And I'm excited for next season. Not that this season's over, but
well, it kind of is.
All right, Lex. So, you know, we're talking a little bit about what's going on with Zach LaVine, the knee, and all that stuff. So here's the million or several $1 million question: is he worth a max contract?
Yes. I mean, you gotta. I mean, you know, before he was showing it, and it's just there's no other max player that's gonna be available like that. Like, you got to have him. But I also feel like at the end of the day, at this point in time, it's easy to move contracts around than it's ever been before. So it's not even like that big of a deal. And then at that, it's not even a super max. So Bulls can do it. They're fine.
But they also need someone else. I mean, like, yeah, you have Lonzo, but you need another. I mean, that's the biggest problem, is that their outside scoring is just not that good, and they're not that good outside. They're not that good inside. You know, I mean, they're, like I said, I think they found lightning in the bottle at the beginning of the season. Again, they peaked way too soon, and now look where they are here. They found themselves playing the defending champs, and aside from one game, just totally getting their asses kicked. So, I mean, you know, now we're looking at, you know, being down 3-1. Is there any possible way that they could win? I'm not saying to win the series. Is there any possible way they're going to win another game?
You got to go into Milwaukee and win a game again?
Hey, man.
It's highly improbable. And I'm just saying this from a betting standpoint because they've been kicking my ass for fucking week, man.
Bulls taking your money even when you don't go to the game?
Yeah. So what do you think,
I mean,
Alex?
the Bucks made 2 adjustments. They attacked Vooch, and then on offense, they said, all right, we're going to let the role player score. And they're winning now pretty handedly. So
and that's the thing
I don't know how Bulls can counter that.
But I mean, and that's the thing too, is that you talked a lot about what's going on with the bench play on this team, and because a lot of them have had to be pushed into more minutes because they've had to play starters minutes on some of these games. We're not seeing IO play that much, which is a little bit surprising to me. But I mean, like you look at the bench play for the Bucks. I mean, Grayson Allen going out there and just hitting a bunch of threes, and I don't know if he's just motivated from his disputes. His disputes that he's had with the Bulls over the last couple meetings in the regular season. But then, they don't have Chris Middleton right now, who was a very key part of them winning a championship last year. And so you got Grayson Allen, you got Bobby Portis out there just shooting lights out. You know what I mean? So those two guys in particular have an extra chip on their shoulder because they have some type of beef with the Chicago Bulls. And like I said, with the stigma that the being on the Bulls has, playing against the Bulls, there's such a aura around the Bulls, the logo, it's still, the Jordan shadow, does definitely loom large over the team. Yeah. So when teams come here, especially in the playoffs, I mean, I think they have extra motivation to go ahead and give an extra push. You know what,
Bulls can get one more because I don't believe Grayson's going to drop 27 again. Drew and Giannis, they did what they do. And DeRozan or Zach can go off for 50 at any night. So because you have DeRozan and Zach who go off for 50 at any night, you always have a possibility to get at least one. But to do that consistently, no way.
All right, so let me be the Debbie Downer here because I've been betting on Zach and DeMar for the past, 2 months to get 20, 25. I ladder it.
It's not working for you on FanDuel.
Oh no. Good thing I don't have kids because their college fund would be zero at this point. They've been taking. Who's actually been making me money is Bobby Portis. I've been putting them down for a double. Him and his big old eyes have been cashing in for me. And I literally had a parlay as well for Grayson Allen, Zach LaVine. Who else did I have? Vooch and Drew Holiday all have two 3-pointers made. Yeah, I got like 3 out of 4. And
right.
I've had parlays of 10, 12, 15 legs, and I've been losing by 1 leg all the time, and it's just so frustrating. But I don't think right now that I really think that the Bulls, big guys, your DeRozan and LaVine, I think they're just tired. I think they're just so tired right now. DeRozan is literally on the court with his shoulders slumped down when they're bringing up the ball. Yeah. He's not asking for the ball like he used to. He's not being the alpha that we need. He's not being the Batman that we had, scoring 30, 40, 50 points a game for those that stretch. We knew that was sustainable. Yeah. And it's showing now that, the wear and tear is showing up now.
He's showing that he's a 33-year-old player.
Agreed.
And that's
when
what it is.
Like you said, when you don't have a bench to alleviate those minutes.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna put it this way. I teach for a living, right? And I can throw it back for 1 period. I can't play ball with these kids for 6 periods straight. Mr. Z gonna be dead on the floor in 6 period. You better call for CPR. I can do it 1st and 2nd period, and that's it. That's my limit.
You got the school nurse's number on speed dial.
Shit, I got the ambulance right down the street. I got their numbers already.
You got the life alert.
Oh yeah, I'm falling. I can't get up. Snap it.
That's funny.
Oh,
that's
man.
true.
All right, Lex, give me a quick prediction of who you think is going to win the championship. Let's jump all the way ahead. Who's going to win it this year, man?
Milwaukee Bucks repeats. Giannis shows that he is the greatest player right now.
Yeah?
Who does he face?
In the West?
Yeah, who's the West? Who's the West opponent?
Oh, crap.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I want to say Suns, but that Devin Booker thing is really...
That's the one thing.
Devin Booker.
Who do they play in the second round?
That hasn't been determined yet because everybody's still 3-1.
I mean, who could they play in the second round?
Hold
on, let me pull up the
bracket. I think the Suns would play they would play Golden State.
Oh, Dallas or Utah. Oh, no, Dallas or Utah.
It's Dallas, Utah. That's another similar matchup.
Golden State. Golden State and Gianna. Yeah, Golden State and Bucks.
And you still
Bucks
think?
Win.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm picking Bucks.
Because Steph is back now.
No, Steph is back. Steph is back.
Because I'm a big believer that the teams that win the championships are the ones that can get the easy buckets. And Bucks will always be able to get the easier buckets than any of these other teams.
I mean, right now Golden State has murderer's row with those 3 guys that can all shoot from deep.
Bro, I mean, they got their whole team back right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That makes a big difference. And all their core with Clay.
And Poole has developed.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Has he developed? Oh, my God.
You know, it's crazy. Look, I mean, it's good to see. Like, I really like Steph. I mean, to me, he's the best shooter in NBA history. Like, that's just point blank, number one. Like, that's what I got. And just seeing, like, the effort, you know, the effortless shooting. And I think he had to really work hard to get back to that point this year, and he's done so. So, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of like that Golden State pick, but I mean, like, my initial thought would be Phoenix, but I mean, again, that Booker injury, I mean,
it's huge.
It's a hamstring injury, I think.
Yep.
So, I mean, that right there.
That can tighten up at any point.
Yeah. So,
as those old guys know.
So, with a healthy Booker, I'm taking the Suns.
Yes.
But you know, I think I kind of like that pick of Golden State. So, but you got the Bucks running it back, huh?
I got the Bucks running it back because you know why? Because Middleton is out. By the time he comes back, he would have reused all of his cycle of G League type player, so that he'll have a string of Michael Jordan type play. You know, because he has that cycle of like before Middleton got hurt, he was like this game. He probably was going to go off for like 50 because he played bad in the first 2 games, right? And so like his cycle is just proven that's just who he is, how he is. 2 bad games, gets motivated, plays a little better, and then play off Michael Jordan, and then it recycles.
Yeah, there you go.
I have faith in that.
Oh, man. All right, Lex, you know, we appreciate you coming on with all your NBA knowledge. I mean, you know, like I said, we rely on some of you guys sometimes. You know, we watch the Bulls, but we don't watch the whole NBA. So we love having guys on that have, you know, a whole perspective of one sport, because we try to spread to all fields here. So we really appreciate you coming on the show. It's great to talk to you again. And, you know, tell us where we can follow you on your social media and what any projects you might have coming up.
Yeah, you can follow me personally on Kuya Cruz, all of that. It's KUYA CRUZ, Kuya, Filipino for older brother.
Gotcha.
Just let the young kids know what type of music I make.
There you go.
I ain't trying to be young. And then our production team, I Feel Nocturnal, and our studio, Jungle AE. All of those spelled out normally as is.
Awesome. Again, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you again soon, man.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Alex.
All right, bye.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Lex Cruz, and that has been The Bottom Line.
And that's the bottom line.
All right, y'all, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Stirring the Pot after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. It's that time again, brother.
Uh-oh.
You know what time it is.
Oh, boy.
It's time for Stirring the Pot. All right, brother. I went to a restaurant this weekend, and I had a combination of Mexican and Puerto Rican food.
Okay.
So I want to know, would you try this? It is a fried plantain. It's got birria meat in it. It's got lettuce, tomatoes. I didn't put cheese on it.
Okay.
Because I wanted to try without the cheese first.
Yeah.
And then obviously you can put as much hot sauce if you want on it too.
That's you.
I didn't put hot sauce on it.
Yeah.
I wanted to taste it naturally.
That's how I am about most food. Like that's why I'm like, people, if I give you a plate of food, take a taste before you start putting shit all over it.
Of course.
Because I seasoned it.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Yeah. And then your plantain has garlic on it.
Yes.
All right. Is that a birria jibarito? Is that something you would go for?
So, as someone who also happens to be a half-breed,
I feel like it's my obligation to, give other half breeds a chance.
Oh, okay.
This is a half and half combination. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll take. I'll definitely check that out. That's something I would check out. I'm not big on jibaritos because I'm not. The plantain sometimes if they cook it too crispy.
Yes,
you know what I mean. So
yes,
and I don't want it. I don't want it mushy in the inside.
No, it has to be
want it
perfect.
cooked. I want it like it has to be. Once it's perfect, you get a perfect one.
You don't do you want anything else? Yes,
you don't even want it. Like you won't do anything else for the rest of the day because you're like, yeah, this is what I did today. Yeah, I accomplished something.
I hit my high point. I'm out. I'm George Costanza. I'm out.
Right.
No, I completely agree with you, and I don't like dogging people's stuff. As far as restaurants, because I know the owner doesn't cook the food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can understand that, but and in this case, where I did try it, everything tasted good except for the plantain was overcooked. So I don't know if because they're partnered with Ponce restaurant across the street.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Ponce cooks the plantains first, fries them first, and brings them over, and then they just reheat them.
Like a lot of the old school places that heat lamps right there.
Yeah.
For the
so if it's either that or they put it back in the deep fryer, refry it again, which is even worse.
I mean, if you cook it, if you cook it like halfway and then come back, like that
yes,
would work.
Halfway,
If you cook it halfway and then when you put it, throw it back in the fire for that minute to get that crisp on it again, then you could pull that off. But I mean, if you fry it all the way, if you fry it hard, fry it hard again,
that plantain was pretty hard, and
you gotta fucking call a dentist.
And my dentist just called me that morning too.
Yeah, you fucking sit in the parking lot while you eat it and be like, all right,
I'm ready. But I do have a spot for you. We'll go during the summer, we'll go because I don't want to bring it here because then the plantains will get soggy.
Yeah.
She makes they're like just like the plantains, like if you're doing a basket plantains, and then so she puts 2 of them. Right, she puts the meat is just super soft. She cooks it fresh. Everything's fresh. I don't want to say this out loud, but she cooks my stuff from actually fresh plantains, not the Goya fucking frozen bag. So she's like, yeah, like one of my kids.
I'm sorry, does that make a difference?
Huge difference. Huge difference. Mr. What is Del Rey tortillas or the Totonilco? Come on, people. If you get the authentic stuff, you know it's going to taste better.
Yeah, like you're fucking eating paste salsa.
Oh, God.
New York City.
All right.
And then the old El Paso.
Well, this is the first that we have agreed in a long time. So,
well, I mean, like you had to talk to yourself last week, so I got to give you a win at least once. Because
I brought up your food. And I looked up at the traditional stuff. I'm like, no, it's ham.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is that ham is probably you talk about like a traditional Easter. It's a ham.
Yeah,
and I'm not real big on like warm ham. I'm not like a big thick piece of ham. I'm like,
no.
I need like a sliced ham off the bone on a sandwich. Then I'm good.
Yeah.
One thing I did try over here in my neck of the woods, there is a place called Al and Joe's. It's very famous. It's been around for like 60, 70 years. And I went in there this week and tried a sandwich from there. It's like an Italian sandwich, but it's like the long, pan largo.
Fresh bread.
Yeah. So I mean, like, and I got like
you're so Puerto Rican at pan largo, and then you do it with your hands. You're so Division Street right there.
But yeah, I mean, so it's like an Italian sandwich. The capicola and the gabagool. I don't know what that means. I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Capicola.
Yeah, but that and the smoked the Gouda, not the Gouda, the whatever, but not Parmesan, whatever the fuck, the other white cheese that they use there. Anyway, I can't remember the top of my head. Provolone, smoked provolone. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so I mean, like I had it, and it was funny because I come home Friday night, right after the fucking after softball practice, and I'm all hyped up, and I'm like, all right, where are we gonna go eat? And I says, you know what? We caught a train because where I live, the fucking train is always there waiting for you to go. Like, where are you about to go? It was like, I got you, bitch. And I know you've experienced that too, and I'm sure Giganto is in there fucking pissing his pants because he hates coming to my crib because of that fucking train. He's like, I'm going back home. I'm done. Maybe we'll Zoom. That's the only way you're gonna see me. So anyway, so I go down the street. I head up to Al and Joe's, which I heard about for a long time over in Franklin Park. And so I pull up, and my daughter loves like deli sandwiches, right? So we go inside there, and you open the door, you walk inside, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? It looks like a convenience store because you got the counter right there with all the fifths and the cigarettes and shit. And I'm just kind of looking around, and it looks like an old ass bodega, right? So on the fucking one side, you see they got like 100 bags of chips. Over here, they got pop and cookies and shit. And I'm just like, and the girl goes, "Did you want to order a sandwich?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "You gotta come over here." So actually, like on the other side of that island is where they have their deli case, and then you have your old school like fucking Pepsi like a letterboard with the menu and shit like that. Yeah. So I grabbed the sandwich from there, and it was pretty good. I mean, was it the best sandwich I've ever had? No, I'm not real big. Like I feel like sometimes that bread is too hard, and a little bit softer bread and a little bit more meat, and I would have been like, bam. So I bring home this fucking like foot long ass sandwich, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm getting ready for that fucking Bulls game. They win game 2. So much fun. Here comes game 3, and I'm sitting there like fucking Cosby with the sandwich and shit. And so that's the thing about this place. You go in the back, they got beer. So I grabbed a 4-pack of Tall Boys and Modelo. I bring that motherfucker. I'm sitting there ready with my sandwich, dancing back and forth and shit. Like, I got me a sandwich. And I fucking start tearing this sandwich, and I'm watching the Bulls, and all of a sudden, I got the Bulls on one TV. I got like the Cubs or whatever in the second TV. Cubs just ain't doing shit. So I'm trying to get excited for this game. Now, I watched game 1 in the background. I didn't want to get too hyped up. Game 2 is like, yeah, now I'm ready to go. Game 3, here we go. Oh, shit, Vucci with a fucking 3. Oh, shit, another one. And then fucking AC gets a 3. And that's when the Bulls stopped scoring the whole rest of the game. They got 9 points, and that was it. They're like, fuck it, that's how we need it. So, yeah, that's how that went. But I mean, so it was a lot of build up for nothing. But, yeah, shout out to them for the sandwich. It was good. Was it the best ever? No, but I mean, I'll go back.
Yeah, I'll go back. I mean, I'll go back to Tacotan. Oh, I said it out loud. Oh, that's okay. I saw Jess. I said hi to her. She's like, I remember you. I'm like, yeah, never mind. So, I paid for my food, and I was like, all right, have a good night, Jess, and whatever. And but I'll go back. They have other stuff on the menu, and I want to try. What I would have recommended is kind of do like a plantain nachos. So instead of instead of regular chips, we use plantain chips, fresh plantain chips, and put the birria stuff on there and put all the condiments, and now you got a nice combination of nachos.
Almost like pulled pork.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that'll work. But, I'm not going to tell her that because, she's going to have to pay for that recipe.
Yeah, but now she's got to listen to get the recipe, too.
Yeah.
You see how that works?
See how that works?
All right, man. Before we go, what you looking at? What are you watching that isn't sports?
All right, so I talked about it last week, but I wanted to talk to you about it because I'm the huge Batman fan. I finally watched the Batman on HBO. I really, really, really enjoyed it because it was much more of a detective story.
Okay.
Because at this point, he is in second or third year of being Batman. All-star cast. The story was great. It was a little long.
Yeah,
there's points where you're like, oh, okay, the movie's gonna end. Oh no, there's another twist and another twist. I'm like, it could have ended 30 minutes ago.
At some point, your nipples start bleeding.
Hey. Caught me off guard on that one.
There it is.
Yeah. And I really wish that everybody knows by now that they cut out a scene with him with the Batman and the Joker, where Batman asked the Joker for help in Arkham. So they cut that scene out.
Yeah.
And I watched that scene again after I watched the movie, and I'm like, damn, they should have left that in there.
Yeah, I mean, you might get a director's cut at some point where they throw it back in there just for the sake of it. Just to change the feel of the movie.
It makes the continuity of the story because, the whole deal is that the Riddler is just on a rampage, just killing people.
Yeah.
And there's no rhyme or reason why. So Batman and Commissioner, or not, Sergeant or Lieutenant Gordon, whatever he's at that point, they have to figure out. So they're like working in tandem. Okay. And then you also have Catwoman who comes in the picture.
Yeah.
Young Catwoman, and she's also kind of in the middle of it. And you have Carmine Falcone.
Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah, okay. Zoe Kravitz. Then you have Carmine Falcone, who's played by
Colin Farrell was in it. I know
Colin Farrell's Penguin, who does a great job as being a Penguin.
Yeah.
What is his name? He's the Jewish guy. Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus was Jewish.
Jesus. Yeah. All right, so we got Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, who plays the Riddler, Colin Farrell, Jeffrey Wright, who's one of my favorite actors, John Turturro is who I'm thinking of. John Turturro plays Carmine Falcone, the mobster.
He's not Jewish at all. John Turturro is so Italian.
He looks Jewish.
What the fuck? He played a Puerto Rican in Big Lebowski.
I know.
You're so off. You're so off.
Yes, I'm so off. But either way, I thought it was a great movie. I know you'll have 3 hours to watch it.
So here's the question. I mean, you're the Batman nerd, right?
Sure.
I mean, how would you rank Pattinson as a Batman when you're talking about, like, you know, all of these famous Batman you've had over the years? You know, whether it's Clooney, you had Ben Affleck, you had a lot of these different guys. Where would you rank them?
I would rank him 3rd. I think you got Michael Keaton as number 1. And then you would have Bale and Affleck tied for number 2, and he would be 3. The reason the Bale and Affleck are tied is because one was a better Batman and one was a better Bruce Wayne.
Okay,
that's why. So if they were to combine those 2 actors, then you would have an awesome Batman. But no,
I'm Batman.
Okay. Oh, come on.
I gotta take a shit.
No, the only one line that he mumbles, well, not mumbles, but like he tried to use it. It was from the Batman the Animated Series. He said, "I am vengeance." So that's from Batman the Animated Series. But again, the story is a really good story. Give it a chance. It's people say it's dark. It's shot in dark. There's
That's
a
how-
lot.
yeah, that's
it's
how
Batman. Yeah. I'm like, and it's not one of those movies where it's not like a Tim Burton Batman's where it's funny and whatever. No,
quirky.
Yeah. None of that. It's a detective story. It's dark as far as the atmosphere. There's a lot of Chicago scenes.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't know that they filmed a lot of the scenes
During
in
COVID.
Chicago. Yeah, during COVID. Yeah.
Which is awesome for them because everyone's at home.
Yeah. There was no worry about permits.
All right, man. So give me out of 5 stars. What you got?
Out of 5 stars, I give it a 4.2.
Okay.
4.2. It because it leaves a lot. I mean, I've watched it like 3 times now. Because I try to figure out different things in it, but yeah,
especially in a Batman movie.
Yeah.
So I'll give you one that I watched that's related and something that's been out for a while. I let it sit, but I saw it pop up. I want to say on HBO, and it was the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
My first time watching it.
What you think?
It was different. I didn't know what to expect out of the movie. I really didn't know because I mean, like, we get so many different. Batman is Batman, right? So like, you can change him a little bit here and there, like doing goofy voices, or all of a sudden his fucking suit has nipples or something stupid like that. You know what I mean? How, like it's like do you get like a 30-year-old fucking Alfred or like a 79-year-old Alfred like that? There's little nuances you can change, but the Joker has been played so many different ways by so many different actors. I mean, you look at one of the, go all the way back to like Cesar Romero. You know what I mean? Like,
there's no real origin story to him.
Yeah. I mean,
so
like,
anybody can do whatever they want with it.
There's nothing super strict about the way that he can be. Like I said, you got the comic book version that everyone knows, literally joking around and laughing. But I mean, this was a whole like different, really gritty, amazing take on the character himself. The way that he's over there looking for his dad, and the way that they incorporated the origin stories of Bruce Wayne and all that shit. I mean, it was a really, really impressive performance. I will tell you what it reminded me a lot of was Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro. The way he kind of floated around New York City, and he's got the gun and he doesn't know what to do with it. He doesn't really know how to handle it, and then he has plans on what he's going to do with the gun, and that loner mentality in his apartment by himself trying to take care of his fucking mom and all this shit, and then the girl that he's like lusting after and following after. I mean, the more and more I think about it, I mean, I get these Taxi Driver vibes about it.
Another movie that's very similar to Taxi Driver is the King of Comedy.
Okay.
Which is also a Robert De Niro film.
That sounds about right, yeah.
So if you watched, and I actually bought the movie because I couldn't find it anywhere to stream. I bought it, watched it, and then watched The Joker because Joaquin was talking about where he studied a lot of Robert De Niro films.
Yeah, and I mean, you got De Niro in the movie, you know what I mean? So like that right there. And the funny thing is that as I'm speaking through it and thinking about it more, I forgot that De Niro was in it. Because I'm thinking about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and I'm like, oh shit, De Niro was in this movie. So I mean, you think about it,
De Niro was an integral part in that movie that shaped how the Joker was moving in that movie. So it's a definitely must watch. Joker is a must watch. It also just addresses a lot of the mental health issues in our society.
Yes, 100%. I mean, and it's a stigma that people still, I mean, you sit there like, you're crazy. I mean, like, you're, things like that. It's still a joke to call someone crazy, call someone, are you slow? Like shit, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's still out there, but yeah, you're definitely right about that. I mean, like, the stigma that's out there, and it definitely addresses that. And it's interesting to see the way that they kind of handle that, and the way that the public viewed him, and the way that they reacted to him. And yeah, I mean, I definitely, like, if you haven't seen it, this is one movie where I'm like, yeah, it's a definite watch.
All right, so you were sick, so you had plenty of time to watch stuff, huh?
Dude, I watched a lot of shit. What did you watch anything else? Because I know there's one show that a lot of people are talking about right now.
I started rewatching not rewatching, but I'm on the new season of Better Call Saul, where he becomes Saul Goodman.
Oh, so that's good, man.
It's a transition. So I literally one episode and a half into it. I watch it at work when I'm eating my food because I need to disconnect from the madness of teaching. Again, great show. From what I heard is that they're bringing back a lot of the Aaron Paul and the rest of the cast to make cameos here and there. So that's a definitely slow burn.
Yeah,
it's a very slow burn show.
Let me ask you, were you a big fan of Breaking Bad?
I didn't catch it till it was over.
Yeah, I didn't either, and it really I found myself falling asleep at a lot of episodes. Yeah, people were like, it's this amazing, this, that, or whatever. I mean, it's
a very slow burn. I said,
it put me to sleep a lot. And then so when Better Call Saul came out, I've never seen an episode because I wasn't Breaking Bad was a good series. I probably have to go back and give it another chance because I've only watched it all the way through the one time. Okay. But I just I feel like it didn't capture my attention enough where I'm like, oh my God, this was amazing, this and that. And it just, I don't know, something about it just.
I agree with that. I think it was a good show, but it's not one of those shows where I watch over and over and over. Like Sopranos, I can throw it on right now and I'm going to enjoy every episode. Every episode is nuanced.
I feel like I was way more invested in the characters of the Sopranos.
Yeah, I can watch Seinfeld right now, and that.
Well, but sitcoms are easy.
Yeah, because it's shorter.
Yeah. And we were talking about it earlier, remembering specific episodes and
yes, you just talked.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, the whole answer
and it's
machine.
Funny, and it's you know what I mean. It's not as exhausting to watch something funny.
No,
you can sit there and watch reruns of a sitcom all night. You watch a rerun, even if it's a 30-minute drama. You're like, fuck, I'm emotionally exhausted.
That's why I missed that 70 show on Netflix. Oh,
you want to talk about a show I watched all the way through about 1,500 times? That one I could tell you every episode, everything that happens. It's that Seinfeld now and The Office.
Yeah,
so much.
And I'm catching up on The Office now because I went to the Office experience. So
there you go. Yeah.
So all right, what else you watched?
So actually this morning I watched the movie Lady Bird, which had her name. She's an Irish actress. She played a young lady whose family she was getting ready to go to college. So they were doing some college visits. I think Laurie Metcalf was. I think Laurie Metcalf won an award for a supporting actress in the movie. Really, Timothy Chalamet was in it, and it was it was one of these coming of age stories. It's kind of, you have to be perceptive to those kind of movies to enjoy it, which I am. And it was interesting to see all of those coming of age movies. It makes you think about being a teenager again, finding out where you fit in, realizing that no matter where you go and how hard you work in your life, you do come to those crossroads sometimes that even in your 30s and your 40s you have to figure out where you fit in because your times change, your life changes, people around you change. So I definitely enjoyed it. You work with younger kids, so it's something that you'd probably enjoy
very much. So
you know what I mean. So it's kind of because you get to see some of these kids grow up and things like that. So definitely check that one out. And then the other thing that I rewatched Full Metal Jacket. I've seen that a bunch of times. I just really enjoy that movie. I first saw that when I was 16 years old. And I think it was I bought the VHS, which I'm pretty sure I still have. So I rewatched that, and then on Netflix, it gave me the suggestion to watch The Five Bloods, which was Chadwick Boseman's final movie, directed by Spike Lee. It's four
Chadwick Boseman, Delroy Lindo, who's one of my favorite actors, Jonathan Majors. Awesome.
Yeah. Jonathan Majors is really, really such a good. I'm so mad that his Lovecraft Country got canceled. I mean, it was such a good, a good show.
Isaiah Whitlock Jr.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. And guess what? He does in the movie.
No way.
100%. Anyway, so it's 4 African-American veterans battle the forces of man and nature when they return to Vietnam looking for the remains of their fallen squad leader and the gold fortune he helped them hide. So essentially what it was gold that was sent over from the U.S. to Vietnam, and it was supposed to be helping the people, and they were like, you're sending our black soldiers over here and not supporting us when we get back, so fuck you, we're taking what's ours. So, their own version of reparations at the time. And so it was about them going back to Vietnam, seeing their experiences again, PTSD from all the stuff that happened in Vietnam, and again, Full Metal Jacket, Vietnam, rolling over to Vietnam vets. That's and to me, like if I'm watching, I'm not real big on war movies, but Vietnam, I will watch Vietnam movies all day, like Dead Presidents. It's just that time frame where you have the revolution, where you have a war that should have never been fought. It's just.
Did you like We Were Soldiers?
I don't know if I saw that.
With
We Were Soldiers.
Yeah, We Were Soldiers. That's with
Oh, Bill Gibson.
Mel Gibson. Yeah, we were Mel Gibson. Yeah, We Were Soldiers.
No, I haven't seen this one.
That's oh man, that's
okay.
That cast is amazing.
Okay, I'll have to go back and check that one.
Yeah. So I know you're talking about Vietnam.
Yeah.
So I've implored you to watch it because it is a sitcom, but the new Wonder Years.
Okay.
The new Wonder Years. I need you to watch it because this last episode that I finished the season, they literally connected both shows, and it just like you get that epiphany moment when they show you that 1 second of a glimpse, and you're like, that's, and you like poof, epiphany. Okay. So again, this is talking about the same time period, just we're looking at it from the black point of view rather than the white suburban America. Right, looking at the black experience of the Vietnam War. So I know you'll enjoy it. The music's great, the acting's great, and it's a lot of comedy in it.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely, it's one of those things that just like every other show that ever came out, I will check out one day. But yeah, it's not something I knew that it had happened, but yeah. So let me give you a little bit of breaking news, Bears news right here.
Oh boy!
Brand new Bears wide receiver Byron Pringle was arrested for doing donuts in a Hellcat with a suspended license with a kid in the car. So that guy is probably not going to be on the Bears much longer.
He will be cut tomorrow morning.
You stupid fucking bastard.
What a moron.
Like seriously, you got a suspended license, you got a kid in the car, and you're doing fucking donuts on a public road. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. Yeah. What a jackass. What a jackass. What a jackass. Now you know you were the number like fourth string fucking wide receiver on the.
Because you're a dummy.
Yeah, that's frustrating, man. I mean, hey, look, this is the second guy that Ryan Poles has tried to sign that just for whatever one reason or another is going to be a washout.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it, Larry Ogunjobi?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Did he ever sign with somebody?
Because he's not going to pass a physical.
He's ineligible, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not that he's ineligible. He's just not going to pass a physical. So I mean, like, you know, the Bears, because he never signed a contract with the Bears, he's eligible to sign wherever he wants. But I mean, he's gonna want to pass a physical. So I think that if he can pass a physical at some point, I'm sure Ryan Poles is like, look, man, you get yourself right, you got a deal,
right?
So, but yeah,
for a lot less.
I mean, it depends, because here's the thing, if he's still worth what they thought he was worth, if they were willing to pay him whatever after the injury, which happened late in the playoffs, you know, and he's still worth that money, he's still worth that money, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But I mean, now you got Pringle, there's no way they can keep him on the books.
Nope.
So there's some money there, so that'll be fucking interesting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will not be here next week, sadly. So you'll have Z, and maybe he'll have some interesting stuff for you. See what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Maybe go to the Sox game and record that for y'all.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
That'll be interesting. But for today, that is it. Thank you so much for listening. A big thank you to our sponsors, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, ACSI, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirt. Search your keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 at checkout for 15% off of your entire order. That's TrueFan15. Go and get your shirts right now. And don't forget to visit our guy Danny and his crew over at ACSI.Tech and check out the career section to start an exciting new career in the communications industry. Go to ACSI.Tech, that's ACSI.Tech, and get your summer going in the right direction. Once again, a big shout out to today's special guest, Lex Cruz from the Illinois Media School, from Jungle AE, from iField Nocturnal. Go and check out what he's got going on there. Huge basketball head, huge basketball insight. So that was so much fun to talk to him and talk about what a failure this playoff series has been so far. Don't forget to check out Enrique Calderon's new single. It is out now.
Yeah, Entre Dos Rios.
Yeah.
And he actually filmed a video at Output Wrigley.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, man, it was exciting to have him in here, and I'm really excited for his new songs. Go and check them out. And don't forget to check out the Chi Native Radio podcast, now available on all major platforms. Mike Logic, Ideal, and Throw MC talk about sports, movies, and all types of ill shit. And don't forget, you can submit your songs to them to play on the air, and if they like your joint, they will put it on the air. And shout out to them. They were up in
Toronto.
Yeah, they were up in
Draketown,
the northern part of the North America, going up there and doing their thing, and got invited to go out and do an out of town show, bro. It looked like so much fun. I wish I could have gone up there and check them out, because I love going out there and seeing their shows, and to go across the border, and not for weed, but for maple syrup. I mean, it's a big difference, bro. So hopefully they bring out some of that natural stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, Do Not Sleep. His Mike Logic's album is out now, as I was saying. Check out MikeLogic.bandcamp.com, MICLOGIK.bandcamp.com. Logic with the K is back. Go and get your copy of his new album. Shout out to Ronesh, Panic Series Beats, and custom made for the beats we play on today's show. Check out paniconthebeat.com for all your moment, merch, and gear. And go ahead and search for Series Beats and custom made. They got new beat tapes coming out like every month now. So they're putting up some dope stuff, man.
They're just cranking it out.
They are, man. It's crazy. Check us out on social media. You can find us at True Chi Fans on Twitter. That's at True CHI Fans on Twitter and on TikTok. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and reach out to us. Hit the DMs with your Stirring the Pot recommendations, your movies and shows you want us to talk about, and just tell us what you think about the show. You can also hit us up at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. All right, y'all, for Big Z, this is E-Rock. We'll see you next week for episode 94. Until then, be good to each other.
For the love of sports.
Swish.
A few moments later.
You have a lot of incest.
That's real.
Shut your mouth.
Lover boy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins.
I think he's on steroids.
Hasta luego, amigos.
Show's over, show's over, show's over.